We're recording.
No,
that was the last one. That's how he's telling you. I screwed up the last. What did you? What?
Yeah.
What? I went.
Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Skateboard Nation. I'm cutting Jim off right now, man. We're just making fun of things. And anyway, Skateboard Nation, welcome to the show, everybody. Do me a favor. If you do watch and like the show, man, please hit subscribe. Like our channel. We really appreciate it. We're trying to just grow and get this thing up. Oh, look at that. We just lost 3 more viewers.
I know. Well, I only have 3.
I haven't even introduced my guest yet, and I've already lost 3 viewers.
Because they're going to look and see who's on it. And that usually causes some people to open the door and leave. So.
All right. Well, you guys, enough of having that much fun, you know. But Jim and I go way back, 40 plus years of skateboarding. So we kind of know each other pretty well. And we've been really good friends for all that time, and it's been fun.
I agree.
It's been a lot of fun.
And he made one of the best tricks ever done on a skateboard.
Well, you made one of the best tricks.
You showed me pictures. Was there me being an Andrick in there?
Yes, there is.
Okay, all right. I
think
didn't know
it's like the last picture. I say
it was one of my favorite. Like seriously, it's one of my favorite moves ever.
Yeah, but I couldn't find your tricks, and I looked everywhere for your tricks,
because nobody
did
them because I wasn't really cool. People don't like them. Actually, what I liked is that people thought, like the Jim Jam, people thought it was too scary. Yeah, and it's really not a scary trick. It's a finesse trick. But then again, other people do other finesse tricks that I can't do, so I understand that. Whatever, you know. Well,
you know, you made it up after I was skating. I did something similar. I remember. I'm talking about the Jim Jam. Yeah. Okay. Because now I remember what the Jim Jam is. That's where you come out backside and you like hold your nose and you kind of just pop out and jump back in.
Yeah, you drag the
back in.
It's basically it's the backside variation of a sweeper without setting your tail down and jumping on it. It's jumping with no setting. It's a continuous motion.
Well, see, that was the difference then. I'm going to go with the Dave Jam.
The Dave Jam. I like that. For some reason, I want to take the disaster and call it a frontside Jim Jam because I did it before Dwayne did the disaster. Yeah. You know, because this was us all at Big O skate parks.
Everybody did the disaster way before Dwayne.
Oh wow, I love that. Sorry, Dwayne, but we're going to pick on you today, probably.
No, wait.
No, we're not going to pick on you. We might call you out on some shit, but that's.
I mean, there's people like did disasters. You know what I mean? Like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, people did disasters like on round tops.
I'm going to be the first person to tell you I am no historian about skateboarding other than like I've known you for 40 years and I've always liked you. No. You know, it's like other than that, I've always had so much going on in my life that I seriously, I'm not an encyclopedia of skate knowledge. Only like I was there. I mean, I see all these contest videos or I see old things like I was there. I just happened to be there, but I don't remember who who invented the hurricane and who did the front revert.
Who did do the hurricane?
I don't even know.
Was that Buster Holderman or?
No, it was before that. It was
Dave Crab did a really good one back in the day.
Yeah, there's a lot of them, but I mean, I couldn't tell you who did it. It's an insane trick.
I have no idea about tricks.
So the Jim Jam was a tail tap. Yeah, and my foot would kind of come off and sip on the coping, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to jump off, so I kind of put my foot back on as I jumped in. And after doing that a million times, and you get real confident with emotions, like, well, you can jump in pretty fluidly. And then I realized you can drag it and just jump and it's just the same motion and just, kind of went from there. But not too many people ever did it. So that's what I was stoked on.
Exactly.
But then again, in the history, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
Because nobody else does it because they're like, I don't even know what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what? I need to find some footage of it to put it back out there so kids can do it again.
Well, I mean, that's how
a fun trick.
That's how it's a great
trick.
Because we got stuff like Rayborn, Ben Rayborn.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys like that started doing Grayson Fletcher. You know, it's like once a few young kids.
Those guys are monsters.
And sometimes I would skate with them, and then like I'd teach them how to do it.
Yeah.
And then like, oh my God, what's his name? Oh, I'm so bad with names. See, I'm so bad with all these young names. I'm thinking of a kid right now who's so down. I taught him a Jim Jam. He did Jim Jam revert in the combi like a week later. Colin, what's his
Kramer?
No, what is his name? C.J. Collins.
Oh, okay.
So I literally C.J. Collins was
senior. He did a Jim Jam.
I'm horrible with names. I just am really. People I could look at and go, I haven't seen him for 2 weeks, but I've known him 30 years. I go, oh my God, I'm stretching for the name, and someone mentions it, and I feel like an idiot. Like, wow, I can't believe I forgot their name.
Yeah, I do that all the time too.
But so yeah, I saw C.J. at skate park in Monrovia, and he and I we're kind of doing it together. I did a trick. He goes, oh, he invented. Someone said, oh, he invented that trick. And you go, that's cool. So I did a couple. He goes, that's cool. We did doubles together. Yeah. And he was like 8 or 9 years old. Yeah. And then I go, I bet you could do one to revert, because I could see how just casual he was about everything. So we went in the little like bank freestyle area, and he did one on the little 4-foot bank and just came right out of it to revert. I'm going, oh, you suck, you know. And then and it was actually Rob Mertz, who he sent me a picture, like, you know, I don't know, a month and a half later, on the what they call that thing, they used to call it the Duncan at the combi, the hip. Yeah. He did one on the hip, came in revert
right there. Wow.
Like, you know, I'm like, geez.
Yeah, Mertz just sent me some footage this last week. I couldn't believe it. He's like, hey, who made up this trick? And I told him, I'm like, well, you know, at the time, me and somebody else were working on the pogo.
Oh, okay, yeah, totally.
And you know, but
watch those hands. They make noise in the recording.
He got put my hands behind me here. Anyway, he you know, Kyle got the picture, and like it was like a centerfold, I think, of doing it, or I don't know. He got a centerfold. He got a picture doing the pogo. So I was like, okay, yeah, he was the guy that did the pogo. So Kyle Jensen, for the record, made up the pogo. Right?
Good job, Kyle Jensen.
Yeah,
David, right on your tail, but good job.
Well, we were at the park at the same time, and I don't remember. It was like I don't remember how it went down, but I know.
Well, you know, they also say that Bobby Valdez didn't do the first invert. Some other kid did it, Lakewood.
Kevin Regan.
And
it was actually
Kevin O'Regan?
Kevin Regan.
Oh, that kid was so good.
That was at the skate park.
Someone told me it was somebody also at the same park where Robbie, like at Lakewood or something like that. But
you know who told me? It was Daryl Miller.
Okay.
Daryl Miller said that Kevin Regan.
Kevin O'Regan.
Kevin O'Regan.
Kid was amazing. Kevin O'Regan, I don't know if you ever watched this stuff or you still watch skateboard, but
hey, we give you
50
props,
years
man.
later, I still think people talk about gnarly skaters. So Kevin O'Regan, that kid was gnarly. Because you were only like 12 back then. I remember. You disappeared. I don't know where you went.
What was the skate park? Mission Viejo.
Mission Viejo local. I remember seeing at Skatopia. When I was like, who is this kid? He's freaking gnarly. He's 12 and he's killing it.
That's where I first saw him do the invert. And he was trying the invert. And Daryl Miller and Bobby were there at the park watching it, but Bobby got it wired in first. And
Bobby brought it to competition. Brought it to skateboarding. So he's the man. Because I was doing Powerflex wheels. Bobby was a guy I think I maybe put on one of the first posts I put. You know, Bobby Miller, inventor of the invert. I got chewed out by people. Well, it's like one guy particularly who had a real chip on his shoulder about it. Like, dude, I'm not trying to steal something from somebody. I'll be the first, like I said, I don't know all of the history, so if I say the wrong hurricane or disaster person, please forgive me, but and also fuck you, because grow up. I mean, it's just like, let's just keep it straight. Like, I mean, it's like no, actually, recently, here's a good one. Seriously,
I got one too.
The Gray Slide. Okay, named by Neil Blender. It was just a trick. I don't even know how it really came about. But how I did it was a grind to tail to slide. Okay, I would go fast and slide across a couple coping blocks. Someone found some footage of Jay Adams basically doing a front side grind to tail, stopping his tail and dropping in. And then I see all these guys posting on some post online like, oh, Jim Gray's been claiming he invented this trick and Jay Adams really invented it. And I'm like, maybe that's the root of what it is. But it was like, and it was a contest footage. I wasn't at the contest. I was this little M kid in Orange County. I go, but it's not the same exact trick. He didn't know. He did a nose grab, grind, and he just hit his tail and came back in. That's cool. A Gray Slide's just like, no, he did. No, it was not. So it's like, so the root of a Gray Slide, something Jay Adams did. Jay Adams also did every damn trick ever known to mankind, whether it's a backside Monty or Smith, whatever you want to call it. I've seen him do that like on accident, make it, miss it. You know what I mean? Like, he was such a fluid, kind of crazy skater, always body below the coping, board over his head. I mean, Jay was a really rad skater. But so I see this footage, but I see these just shit talkers online going like, oh, he's all these claims and this and that. Like, you know, like, dude, whatever. He didn't do the same trick I did. You know, I mean, and Neil Blender called it a Gray Slide. So forgive me for trying to steal my whole world of skateboarding by lying about the trick I invented. I thought it was pretty funny. There's nothing the Jim Jam anybody can really argue about, but
it's like the online thing between Toss Pappas and Tony Hawk doing the first 900.
True, you know,
and Toss might have done it first, but Tony did it, and whoever gets it in the magazine or does it in front of us, he did it in the eyes of the world. Of millions of people.
He did it in the eyes of the world.
Everybody gave him the credit for it, and and if I was Tony, I mean, I'm obviously not Tony, but. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, I've made up 90 other tricks. Like, who cares about it?
No, I agree.
Toss, good luck with that.
No,
but
He popularized it. He
popularized
made a couple $100 million off it in the end. Not off of it, but I mean, just that moment in time, as far as I'm always concerned, is what launched Tony Hawk. Because at that time, street skating was the only thing anyone paid any attention to. Yeah. And vert was literally being ignored by the world, but not by the X Games. You know what I mean? The X Games was allowing still street and vert and so on and so forth. So Tony went out at an X Games and did something that, let's face it, vert makes sense to the public. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because street skating is like, why did everyone fall and why are they? I don't even understand that and blah, blah, blah. But now some guys doing busting air, spinning around. So the whole focus goes to this 900. So the mainstream guys, the video makers, all that, see that. It's like, oh my God, this guy doing this amazing trick, never been done. That's how I see it. That was the fuel. Tony Hawk was proven. I mean, no one's ever going to argue that he was like the Michael Jordan of skateboarding. He literally kicked all of our asses once he hit 14, just for 10 years in a row. You know, I mean, he got second once or twice, but Christian might have got first once. I mean, so you can't argue that. But as far as skateboarding, the way the whole street culture was coming in and stepping on the let's say the roots behind it. It was almost trying to eliminate that. It literally was. That's how I look at the street culture change was really, it was a money grab because we want the money, we want the sales. So we're going to talk shit about all the vert stuff. And there's a point where it was like, vert, it's so lame. I mean, and it was weird, but I mean, but there was a realistic attempt within the culture to keep it out of the mainstream. And Tony pierced that veil. So that's what I mean. That thing took him to a level that even the overlords who were taking over the magazines, making sure you could only be on a rail on the cover and pretend that no one even rode a pool anymore and so on and so forth, he pierced through it anyways. And it launched the game, and so all the street kids ended up playing Tony Hawk's game, which is pretty ironic when you think about it, because he wasn't really a street guy. but he made a fortune off it. It's great. It's more power to him. Yeah. Love Tony. I love you, Tony Hawk, and I loved your mom and dad, and your brother. Everyone in your family was great. So,
all respect. No doubt. Yeah. And it just always blew me away that people would want to give his parents or family, anybody, any kind of grief. Because
I'm volunteering my weekend to babysit a bunch of kids,
put up with a bunch of BS.
Or when people would say, like, he won the contest because his dad was there. It's like, no, I actually was with some of the guys judging. Like, guess what? His dad had no say, it's pretty funny. Dad was hard on him, not really hard on him, but I mean, his dad was awesome. I mean, Tony was out of town touring. His dad was still driving kids at the skate park. Yeah, I mean, he was
other kids and stuff.
He was a good dude. Frank was. I cut my butt on a ramp once, and Frank literally cleaned it off with peroxide and the Palmdale contest. Put a towel on my butt, put me in my car, and said, "Have a good weekend, Jim." I missed the contest, but Frank Hawk patched my butt up. And sent me on my way. I mean, he didn't have to do that. I mean, he was just a sweet, sweet man. So.
Yeah, no, he was a super good guy. No question about it. Anyway, well, I guess we could probably get started now.
Oh, okay. See, this is the difference. I do a podcast, and I never write a question down at all. I don't do pictures and all that. That's a lot of work. So you also have help. You have Greg over here helping. Yeah, I have no help. I edit, record, post. Respond to my 3 listeners in 4 countries. It's all on me. So since you've got a staff, I saw your beautiful daughter here helping out. She probably typed that up for you. Only teasing.
Oh, yeah. I had a secretary.
The secretary did it.
Are you kidding, man?
So you have questions. I like this. How come didn't you get my contract? I want a green M&Ms and a copy of the questions so I could prepare for them.
Writers here.
Man.
We got great vegetarian pizza.
You did. It really was good. Felipe's, is that?
Yeah.
Good place.
Yeah, it's our new sponsor.
I like it. Felipe's Pizza. Your pizza's really good.
We paid them.
Yeah,
we paid them.
I find those kind of sponsors myself. Hey, I'm sponsored, but wait, you're sponsored by me.
Exactly.
I give a lot of free plugs on my podcast. So Felipe's, you just got a free plug. This is worth at least $13. Maybe.
Maybe. That's a half a pizza right there, man. Yeah. They've only been in business for 50 years. Anyway.
With 35 locations. Yeah. They're hurting for pizzas.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with it, man. Start. Give me a question. Throw something at me. What do you got?
Man, I don't know. I just kind of went dead. Oh, we're talking about skateboarding, right?
Oh, you were, but you wrote questions down. Like I said, all you got to do is read them.
Look at that.
See, my podcast, when we get diverted, we have to find a way back. Because
questions. There's 5 pages and stuff here. We just.
How could you come up with 5 questions for me?
Huh?
5? Are you just like Jim? You sucked, right? Yes, I did. I got
his research has gotten really good.
That's good.
The thing about it is, Jim, is you've had a heck of a career.
Do you
in
call that a
skateboarding,
career? Is that
right?
a career?
Yeah, no, man.
Well,
And
all right.
wait, here's one too. Okay, we are our age group right now. We are like really the first generation of guys who can retire from skateboarding. Retire.
Maybe, yeah.
That's like putting in your 40 plus years and like
Henry
I never
Hester,
thought about that
Skolberg,
shit.
they're all
Yeah.
retired.
All those, well, no, Scully's still working, but it's
But you know,
I think I'll probably work till I'm 90.
you know
but,
what? That is weird because Skolberg, but he owned part of Rusty when they sold out.
Oh,
I mean,
good
he
for
could have
him.
retired.
I like Bob Skolberg too.
but
We'll bring up
Scully-
the name a lot, but I like Skolberg.
Yeah, Skolberg, he was awesome. And the thing about it is like he could like
When you my entire life. Actually caused for Sunshine skateboards, and I actually won a deck at like raffle. They had it, not just a deck, not anything else. So I put my wheels and trucks on that, and then I got sponsored. So I only skated for like 6 months before I got sponsored.
Okay, so who? Okay, I remember your first sponsor was like. Oh God, what the heck was the name of it, man? It was like
Pro-Am.
Pro-Am
Pure Gold.
Oh, I thought it was something else.
No.
It was like I thought it was like Dem Am or something.
No, Pro-Am.
Okay.
And then at some point I rode for
Pro-Am. That's what I thought.
Pro-Am, not Pro.
Oh.
Pro-Lam, you thought it was Pro-Am. It's called
Okay.
Pro-Am Pure Gold. They had a huge team out of Skatopia.
Wow.
They were based in Southgate. I have a feeling maybe Sure Grip had something to do with it because
Okay.
they were based out of Southgate.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I've never heard how those two are tied together.
By their
But
yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah,
I like the
it's
guys
okay.
at Sure Grip. Jim's a good guy.
the balls.
Yeah.
Jim Ball, Harry Ball, all the Harry
And you know
Balls.
what? Those guys have been in skateboarding forever.
I don't even know them. I just know the name Ball because
they've been behind the scenes.
I know.
Nobody knows who
and
they
it's funny
are.
because I say that very jokingly, but like
Yeah.
I was always told there's like Iona Ball, Harry Ball, all these like different names where I kind of just made the name Ball funny. And I'm not laughing because I'm laughing with you guys. You were born with that name. I'm James Robert Gray. Make fun of that. I'm James Robert is technically Jim Bob. You can make fun of me all day long if you want. I somehow got through life without ever being called Jim Bob. Now if you called me, I just laugh. You can
There
call me
it
that
is.
now, but as a third grade, I probably would have cried. But I always hear about the Ball family at Sure Grip. I don't know if I've ever met a Ball family member, but I'm aware of who they are.
Okay.
So
Well, we had some balls that lived. We had some balls that lived by my house, and now they own all the car
we have some balls. We just have some balls. We do. Yeah.
Now they own all the car dealerships, like in National City, or they owned them all. Oldsmobile, and
Oh
whatever.
my God! Did you say
But that
Todd?
was-
Did you say
that was a
Todd
long time
Wesselow?
ago. Huh?
You say Todd Wesselow?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know. There's a whole other story right
that's
there.
a whole nother one too. Yeah, exactly. All right, so Pro-Am
Pro-Am, yeah.
and Megatron.
Megatron trucks eventually.
Can you say
yeah.
it right though?
Megatron. Megatron. I don't remember. I don't really remember. Someone from the skate park. It's like someone. Okay, I got on Pro-Am because I met a kid literally riding a backyard half pipe, and we all had the little U-shaped half pipe. Some kid was like, "Man, you rad! Like, I bet you could get on our team. I ride for a company called Pro-Am, and we have team tryouts on Monday nights at Skatopia." So I showed up on a Monday night Skatopia, and the kid like found like whoever the team actually, you got to watch this guy skate, and I took him runs down the half pipe. They go, "Dude, you're on the team," and that was that. I didn't.
I love that half pipe.
So too, like riding on the wall and coming off that was gnarly.
That was one of the most,
fun.
one of the best half pipes. I mean,
Just
I
had a nice
ever rode.
grade
'Cause
to it, and just
and it was totally. I think it was like 7-8 feet maybe high.
Yeah, it wasn't too big. If I started at like 5 and graded up to somewhere in that range, 7,
And then it had the wall.
Yeah, with a
brick
3-inch
wall, man. Yeah.
concrete gap.
2 to 3 inch. You had to pop over somehow.
Yeah, you did, but it had a little,
Yeah.
it was troweled in a little bit.
You just had to ride a wheelie all the way down until you jumped over it.
Yeah, and let it bounce and lighten up that back foot. That was the key. Yeah. Who did I see recently? I saw Arab had like a photo. Like, it was like up. I think I went 8 blocks up at one point somewhere.
I didn't even know you could do it. I thought
there was a couple spots that were about that high, but I saw one of him like that high.
Really?
Like, damn, Arab, that was gnarly.
I remember I just saw a picture not too long ago of Hackett, probably about 6 blocks, and I remember going 5 for the one day I was there. I only skated that park once.
10 times, 15 times.
Yeah, I skated once there and just remember the wall because I went there for a Expo contest.
I just remember it was just all fancy with like streams and lakes and
it was grass.
Basically it was like a little miniature golf course with skateboard stuff in between, you know.
Was it really?
I don't remember all the details. Remember you walked in, you had like a little like banked freestyle area or whatever reservoir area. There was a little pond with a stream between it with a little bridge, and it went over towards like that. That was Skatopia, yeah. I don't remember. I'd love to see more pictures of it, you know.
I think when I went in, I just went straight to the half pipe, and I don't remember any of that.
And I did that at most parks. I could not tell you. People talk about Whittier all the time. Yeah. At Whittier, I rode the keyhole, the clover, and the full pipe. And there was a couple of bathtub bowls I rode a couple times. But people talk about, do you ever ride the back bowl or this, that, like a freestyle? There was a freestyle area? There was a back bowl? I don't know. I don't remember seeing it.
Yeah, I don't either.
And then Colton had a lot of different runs. There's a lot of places that had different runs that like, you know, I mean, so did even Upland, all that weird stuff up top that, you know, most of us probably went through once.
I don't think I ever went there.
There's all these little snake runs that were all lumpy and weird. And
I remember having like a bank thing, but whatever. Yeah,
well, their bank slalom thing was really fun, just as far as taking the, you know, warming up and then carving in that 15-foot bowl.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting in trouble here.
Oh, you're getting in trouble. You're getting chewed out from the distance. Like, I don't want a 4-hour podcast, and Jim Gray never shuts up. Okay.
No, the truth is, you know, we're trying to put pictures in at the right time and stuff. So we're going to go back to some of the stuff.
Okay, all right, go ahead. So, start back wherever you want.
Anyway, okay, no, I was just going back through, like, okay, so you had Megatron, then you went for Powerflex.
For Powerflex, yeah.
And that was with Gail Webb?
That was with Gail. Yeah,
okay. Gail helped out so many people.
Oh, Gail was the best. You know, she took us around to do demos at the malls and on the ramp.
Did you ever get paid for any of that stuff or no?
No, that was all amateur stuff. That was like, you know, I got pizza and a soda and a high five and a hug. And, you know, and, I probably got to help set the ramp up. You know, I mean, all the perks, you know. Here, kid, help us hoist the ramp in place.
Yeah. I got some builders. Oh, and they skate too. This is great.
They're underage.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so in a way, pool service.
In a way, it was a short-lived thing. Yeah. But it was. Wally asked me to ride for IPS, and I was stoked. He gave me a board, and then Wally just disappeared.
Yeah.
So that was the end of it. So I was sponsored by Wally for a very short period of time.
For one board.
I don't know if I ever got on a written roster anywhere at IPS, but I mean, Wally will still acknowledge it. You know, I think that's when skateboarding was changing, and it was just like that first. A lot of the Hester guys disappeared, and never made the Gold Cup, right? Yeah. So I think that was probably between those two.
And it was funny too, because a lot of those guys who we lost in that time was all because they were writing for a sponsor that couldn't afford to put them in the contest.
Oh, is that it?
Because they could have won, or they could have done.
I think Lance Mount or somebody told me it was like because they had compulsories that some of the people couldn't do.
Well, yeah, but they still let them in. You know, I know two pros that went through the whole thing. And
never made the compulsory runs.
And they did the compulsory run, but they did it like on flat bottom.
Yeah. And just for people who don't understand, compulsory run was they're saying you have to do an invert, you have to do a rock and roll. I don't know what I don't even remember what the tricks were.
Front side air, back side air.
Yeah, they're basically saying you don't qualify to be in this contest, which is ironic because if you go fast forward to today, like even what makes you a pro, there's no rules.
No.
Back then, they were trying to make a rule before you could even enter the contest as an amateur.
Yeah.
You know, and that's unfortunately how far skateboarding has slipped in all those years. Now pros are when the pro fairy goes in and taps you on the head. Ding, you're pro. You know, it's like,
here's a board.
Put a picture on Instagram. Here's your board. Like, oh, I got a board. Neat. You know.
That's exactly it, man.
1,400 per board. Me and 1,400 other guys have a board. This must be valuable.
15,000 other guys have a board now.
I wonder how many real models there are. I'm guessing 500 to 700 would be my guess.
For boards?
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm guessing it's higher.
Yeah, it could be.
Because if you take like now, I mean, it used to be where it was like
shops have pro boards now for the local kids they sponsor. You know,
but I mean, like you used to have like the America, and America would send to all Europe, all of Japan, Australia. I mean, everywhere. Now, the United States doesn't send really any of those people You know, like Australia. I mean, people buy little bits, but back then we would send 500 of each pro board to Japan.
I mean,
or
just
whatever.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah,
Nothing's
I mean,
a month.
500 of a model being sold now is amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Right.
It's like it used to be. God, if I only sold 500 boards in a month, like on a blockhead, I'd be like, oh, what a sad month.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, like now, Japan has their own pros. They get their own boards from China.
Oh, and
you don't even
Spain
know what
Italy
it is, but it's not coming to the United States.
No, that's true. That's true. You're right. So I'm not even counting. I'm thinking there's 700 in the U.S.
Yeah, in the U.S.
guys whose names are on a board.
Easy.
Yeah.
And then, you got all of Europe, and man, every country over there has like 20 boards.
Well, my best explanation, as far as maybe even pointing that out to someone we talked about, is like, say, when I wrote for GNS, me, Billy Ruff, Neil Blender, Chris Miller, 4 guys on a team, maybe it was Freestyler, that was your team. And then you had 6 other companies that had similar size to me. Maybe Powell Santa Cruz had 6 guys, and someone else only had 3, but that's how you came up with your 40 or 50 guys. And then when you went fast forward to like the 90s, I was making skateboards for like, say, Alien Workshop as an example, like one of my customers. They had like 9 or 10 pros on Alien. They had 7 or 8 pros on Habitat. They had 4 pros on Seek. Each of those pros had 3 different models. It was like, so you start amplifying, like, okay, a similar sized company had 39 models, we had 4. Right. So it's just like, so you wonder how it got a little bit out of hand, and then that just went across, the thing again.
Now it's across the world, and everybody has pro models in every country.
And again, I guess I fought it. Obviously, when I made my company, because I didn't think it didn't.
That's on page. That's on page 3.
Okay, yeah, it didn't make pro skateboarding to me. It didn't make pro skateboarding respectable or whatever. That
was a good one.
All right, we're going to page 3. I'm going to shut up now and let Dave talk. This is more like my podcast where I talk the whole time and I let my guests have a couple words.
We're going to be talking all kinds of smack anyway.
Okay. Oh, yeah, this might be my podcast as well, by the way. But we're probably going to have Dave come up and do his own.
I think
because I want to embarrass him about his own career after he's done with me.
Yeah. I think that's a good
I might
idea.
write questions down for yours.
That
First
would
time
be
ever.
fun.
I'm going to call your kids.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll write my own questions. Because there's a lot of shit I want to talk about.
Oh, there you go. That's good.
And I don't ever talk about it.
No, I like that.
Actually, I'll be honest with you, Jim.
Ultimately, that's what you really want. That's what you want. That's what I want in a podcast. I want people to say what they want to say.
Yeah.
What do you want to get out?
That's it.
Because I don't talk about the videos people were in, all the I'm not saying contests were like that. But in general, my thing is like, let's talk about you as a person. Yeah. What did skateboarding do for you? How did it affect your life? What are some of the goods and bads and so on and so forth? But I want you to share with people things that they're probably not going to hear every
Jesus,
day.
Jim, this is beautiful.
This is beautiful. It's beautiful. I'm crying right now.
Well, that's what this whole podcast is about.
Good.
Our video blogging, our podcasting, blogging.
We're not just going to show my last 3 parts I posted on Instagram.
Okay.
That I worked 6 months on and beat myself up on to get a 1-minute edit.
Okay, so
let's go back.
Okay, so question 1.
Wow, we're 67 minutes in the podcast. He's asking me question 1. Wait, Hank, I got to text my girl. I'm gonna be late for dinner. It's 12:30. I'm gonna be late for dinner.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, no, but who recruited you for GNS when you got
Steve Cathy?
Okay, and what was it like when you had to leave? Were you tight with the guys at Powerflex?
No, here's what happened. This is when Powerflex kind of fizzled out the first time.
Okay.
Because what had happened is Bob Ballou, who was later my Powerflex partner and with his brother still to this day.
Okay.
Bob is the one who came up with the idea for Powerflex. He had been a salesperson. He had sold for other roller skate skateboard companies wheels. I think he named the Stoker wheel and something like that.
Those.
Then he met these guys who had the machine shop and had stuff like that, and they brought it back him to do Powerflex. It was supposed to be a deal where like they all had 1/3 of the company, and then they a couple of years in, he found out that they had given him like 10% of the stock, and he said, "No, F you, you're going to fix this." And they said no. Okay, and this is to some extent, I don't know all the details.
Wait a minute, this is Bob?
This is Bob. Yeah, Bob was supposed to be like 1/3.
He was like the face of that.
Well, he wasn't the face of the other guys, but he was supposed to have 1/3 of it, and they found out they didn't really do it that way. And when he battled with them, they said no, but he owned the trademark.
Ah, good.
So he went and had them shut down on the trademark. So they no longer could sell the Powerflex brand, but they're the guys who had the money.
Yeah.
Okay, and Bob was working. Bob was a car salesman. He worked at, the story with Richie Carrasco, he sponsored him rolling by a car lot he was working on. That's how he sponsored him.
Get out of here.
Yeah, literally going home from the skate park. You saw him training in Anaheim. He was working like Anaheim Dodge. And he's like, whichever one of you kids can do the most 360s, I'm going to sponsor. And then Richie like busted out like, where the hell did you come from, kid? Yeah. And he sponsored him. So Bob had something to fall back on. Didn't have the cash to turn Powerflex. Things were changing, right? We're going from the wide boards to different style boards, bigger wheels, smaller wheels, or whatever. And And so it kind of fizzled. So I was sort of like, we were sort of abandoned.
Okay.
Gail was caught in between. And this is how Bob always explained to me. Bob goes, I handled like the pro team. I handled Daryl Miller, Bobby Valdez, because I didn't have any interaction with those guys when I wrote for Powerflex.
Okay.
I had interaction with the amateur guys, Mike Hirsch and, things like that we were like, the Hirsch brothers. I think who else was on there. But we would be doing the parking lot demos and stuff like that. And then she was like saying, well, I can't get you guys any boards right now. They're having like some battle amongst the partners. And so I can't promise you that the sponsorship's going to continue. So it more or less faded. Okay. And then Steve Cathy had asked me to ride for GNS, which at the time, was pretty much like getting on Powell. Like you're right for GNS. It's like, wow, thank you. I just got recruited to the top NFL team or whatever. It was just like, yay, so.
Yeah, man. Yeah, those guys had one hell of a team with Billy Ruff and Neil, Chris Miller. Was he on there too at that time? Then you had like other pros. Bill Tocco was over there, but
that was all earlier, a little later 80s.
Ken Fillion.
That was all like late 80s into the early 90s with those guys. Gino Tossi. Yeah. So when I was on there was Gino Tossi, Greg Weaver. Oh yeah, the original Greg, different Greg Weaver.
The other Greg, Florida Greg.
Billy Ruff, Neil, Chris.
Johnny Tussle was on there too. He jumped in there.
But so like I have one of my cherished like memory possessions is my GNS poster, which is me, Neil Blender, Chris Miller, and Billy Ruff. And to me, it's like, I call it three cool guys in gym. You know what I mean? That's just the way I like these guys are all like, Chris Miller's probably the best skateboarder over the age of 50, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, in this day, Neil just speaks for himself.
Tony can still hold it, but,
Tony's got that, but I mean, but as far as like, who would I want to skate like? Maybe not over 50. Okay, from our generation, how's that? We're going that way. Okay. I mean, because when he rode the combi, that was always like, who's going to get second place if Chris stays on his board. That's what I'm saying. And I'm including Tony. Tony had the technical tricks.
No, I know.
To me, technical tricks
don't work.
Technical tricks get an 8 to a high-speed air that drifts 15 feet at 8 feet out. That's a 10. Okay, I don't care that may be harder to do technical trick. I'm still a purist. Skateboarding to me is about motion and speed and aggression and all that stuff. So I would... The only people's runs I ever wanted to mimic in skateboarding were like Christian Hosoi, Chris Miller. Those are the guys I wanted to skate like. I didn't. I love Tony and I like Tony and I could like doing some of those tricks, but I by no means wanted to spin my board or flip my board. That didn't even appeal to me remotely. I wanted to do a 6-foot frontside air and let go of my board and float in and ride out of it. That was skateboarding. So
we have those pictures.
I do, man. I do.
Okay. Does that help you get to question number 2?
Yeah.
Are we at question number 2 yet? By the way, the show is not sponsored by Brisk Lemonade, but we're giving them a free plug.
We're giving them a free plug. Is that a pharmacy jacket or who's the jacket?
This is actually a company called Former. It's a bunch of a couple pro snowboarders and skateboarders got together and did this. My friend Eddie Miyoshi, who was a Japanese contact for Volcom for many years. I've always printed stickers for Volcom. He's now like the CEO, whatever. So
rad.
It was actually a really nice jacket. Very comfortable.
Well, I'm just. I know we did that. P2 is Gordon Smith. That was my Steve. So let's go. Number 3. Actually, is a picture.
Oh, there we
P3.
Go. A pass.
We're having rendering lag right now.
We're having
rendering lag. Can I describe what we're seeing on the screen?
Sure, go ahead.
Maybe it'll be. It's a big skate park pass, and the coolest thing about that is GNS did pay for that, and that's when you were a kid and you knew you had really like made it, right? And they're sponsored by the big guys, and because the skate park used to cost $5 a session or $3 or whatever.
I had to pay for me.
Most of us had to pay.
I got lucky. First photo, second photo, first ad, boom, and mag. We're going. Okay, well, next photo too. I like this photo. That was your acid drop right there.
I was rolling it off a roof into Steve Terry's ramp. Steve Terry actually later bought Alita wetsuits. He was
was that right?
Wetsuits for a while. The Terry family, good guys. That was their backyard ramp as kids. And
look at that haircut, man.
That haircut? I don't know. Can I see that haircut? Is it back here big? No, I don't know. It's not behind me. Does it look like my haircut now? No?
No, that was
like pompadour.
That's like a full crew cut, man.
I mean, here's the thing. I dated a hairdresser in high school.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I married a hairdresser.
Yeah.
So I think I just kind of got stuck in the hair.
Hairdresser mode.
Well, just, I mean, so I focused my hair. My girlfriend today still laughs at me. Like, we're going out. Like, I need to fix my hair. She's like, seriously? Like, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm weird. What about
Fair
my hair?
enough.
Forgive me. But I'm really fortunate.
City.
Yes. Next one, Skate City. We're going to go through some few pictures here.
I thought I was taking my mofo, by the way.
Is that right? A mofo
He didn't take very many because I was a SoCal guy and I wasn't allowed.
Well,
he broke a rule right there.
Rest in peace to mofo, man.
Mofo?
No, not mofo.
Mofo. She's
Yeah, no.
more reason.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Mo.
That mofo.
Yes.
No, this one here, you know, one of my favorite pipe shots of you. I have a couple of them follow back to back to back because you were a beast in pipes, I remember. Well, I actually like watching. I didn't know I could look up and be like, is that Steve Alba or is that Jim Gray? You
Well,
know?
I mean, if there's anything that I would ever, you know, I mean, I'm confident in what skating, how I skate, I get how I skate. I know I'm not Christian, something like that. But in a pipe, I would definitely proudly say that I was in the top 5 pipe riders, I think.
Jim, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 5.
That's my
top 5.
We'll see.
Okay.
I'm saying that's my personal feeling. I don't know. You know, like
I'm going to go with it. I'm just having fun with you, man. I'm just having fun.
No, but in that era, today I've seen, like, I saw Peter Hewitt ride a pipe.
Yeah.
He made me feel like I never even rode a pipe before.
Is that right?
I mean, I saw him ride the new Upland pipe out there when they built it like 15 years ago or like that. I was like, Jesus, I've never seen anyone ride a pipe the way he did it. I was like, okay, all right, fine. I suck at pipes. But if I go back to me and Steve Alba and all those guys, you know, like, okay, I feel I was in the
at that time,
and considering that Saba lived at Upland and probably rode there 200 hours for every one that I ever spent there, you know, I feel like I did okay. So
absolutely.
Pipes are definitely.
When is this one? Because I didn't.
It was the Vancouver, 1986. The what was that called? The World's Fair. It was a contest of the World's Fair in 1986. And when we were just out roaming around the neighborhood, somehow we found these grain silos, like somewhere out in a field, and peeped our head through the thing. It was with Grant and a couple other guys, and Lester Kasai and me and Grant Britton, and that's a Grant Britton photo.
What is that sticking out?
It's actually a metal, like a steel weld. Like, I mean, it would hurt really bad and probably cut the shit out of you if you hit it. Yeah, so probably a little too high to have the balls to go over it, probably. And that's kind of, and as much as I'm stoked because that's a rad photo, like, because that's what best he got is like, it kind of looks like a stink bug front side, like I you know what I mean?
It's kind of like you're holding back.
I'm kind of like holding back, and my style looks like I'm kind of like...
You can't really go over it at 10:30, but, you know, because that looks like it's
like I need to go potty, and I'm holding it. That's kind of what it looks like. So
it's like 9:45, and you got to stay underneath it. What was it made of? Grain silo?
It was metal. It was metal, so noisy and rusty, too. So you're also smelling the rust dust as you're sliding around in the...
This is another good photo I like, just because
I wish I could understand that photo. I don't know if it's ollie. I think it's probably more like early release. Like I probably grabbed my rail for a minute and let go because I think this was almost. We weren't really olling back then.
I'm just going to say it's front side ollie.
Okay.
Yeah, let's let early release shit, man. That doesn't work. Your hand's way too high. Otherwise, you pulled 3 feet off the wall. You know, because you got to bring that hand all the way back.
I haven't seen too many past photos with people drifting off the wall. Yeah.
So that's why.
So Dave's giving me credit saying I'm the first man to ever ollie over vert.
No, I'm not.
I'm hoping some of you youngsters will show some more respect for me now. Because I can never do that today, but you know, when you see me, go, that's the first dude that ollied over vert.
I'm going to say it's a guy who
or accidentally got in the air somehow. Somehow I accidentally got in the air over vert.
Well, you got a concussion out of that too, right?
Yeah, I've never had a concussion. Knock on wood. Probably get one next week or today. I've never broken a bone either. Knock on wood again. That'll probably happen this afternoon.
Oh, jeez. No, that's not. No.
It's going to happen.
This one here, I didn't know you got the chance to ride on the Turning Point.
I did.
Was that on the East Coast? Or was that
No, that was at Marina Del Rey Skateboard.
Oh, that was
What's really trippy is Grant Britton found this photo a few years ago after Sonny Miller had passed away. They'd been good friends for some reason. He found it in some slides. He goes, I guess you were skating we were there, that Sonny was there that day, and I found this rad photo of you. And I can't wait to see it. And if you look at the original slide he sent, you can see like the palm trees behind it with like light shining on, and there's like fog fading. So it's probably because by the coast, it was probably coastal fog coming in.
Yeah.
Because that's actually the only Turning Point ramp I've ever seen photo that looks like it's at night. Yeah. I'm sure there are some, but I've never seen it. They're always in the daytime with the bright light. And
most of them were Kent Senator.
Yeah. And I saw when someone actually texted me one this morning, completely randomly, a buddy of Kent Senator completely looping it. It was so rad. And I did loop that a couple times to the extent that you could.
Mike McGill,
right?
Mike McGill did too.
Yeah, you know, and once I did it front side and lost my speed and like literally fell off the ceiling. That was a waker upper. But and I to this day, I mean, just recently, actually, I had posted something online. It's like I part of me still thinks I could do the loop. You know?
Okay, yeah, I know. I saw that when you were
I was just like being honest. I mean, I know that I would either go there and literally.
But Jim, you know,
nope, scared to death, never going to happen, or I'd just go and be like, almost like, just do it the first try. There wouldn't be like, I'm not a 5-try guy. It's like once or twice, and it flows, or it's like, oh, this does not make sense to my body.
Okay,
No.
you know, you're never going to get that chance.
I don't know. Who knows? Tony brings it out now and then. He's never invites old guys though.
Not anymore.
Done. If they're done with it.
Done with it.
Well, maybe someone else will build one. What I don't understand is why Tony didn't rebuild the turning point ramp. You know. Again, he's the one with the means and the historical. I know he has a desire.
I think the thing about it is what happened the last time they did it was at his warehouse in Vista, down the street, and 2 of the young guys got really hurt.
Oh, okay. Well, I know it's dangerous.
He said right then, man, we're done. This is
kind of a bummer.
Everybody was like,
I kind of thought about it. I turned 60. I want to do it at 60. Dave did it at 50 or something. I want to do it at 60. Why not?
Well, you still got like 6 more years before that happens.
Before I turn 60?
Yeah.
Wrong.
Oh, jeez.
That's really weird.
Anyway,
I'm 60 years old.
So here's some advertising we did. Foot plant. So of the photos, we've got lots of pipes, foot plants, lots of big airs, you know, power skater style, skate fast.
I like to go fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone said, what do you like about skateboarding more than anything? I'd say going fast.
Yeah, exactly. Where are we here?
It takes a lot of speed.
Oh, did you ever skate? Oh yeah, that's such a sick photo, people. I mean, anybody who ever skated the real upland, you know, that corner air like that high up.
I like that photo. I do.
Yeah, that's respect right there. I can tell you, I used to board slide around that sucker. I don't remember. I think I did a back. Oh, I did an aerial axle stall right in that corner.
That's scary.
And when they showed the footage of that, because it was during the contest.
Yeah, you're like near-death experience.
It was like this. This is how I hit. And I just bounced right in. And I tiptoed in. I made it. I was like,
and those walls were kinky and
oh my God,
as hell. I mean, it was like
I don't know how I did it.
That was like actual stalling on a building and rolling in. So
yeah, man, there was a lot of hurt in that thing. That pool took my hip away. So I need hip replacement.
I know it's weird, and then they built the Combi Vans.
Yeah.
And I still love the original better.
Oh yeah.
Like I never really learned to ride the one of Vans or cared that much about it, even though it was smoother or like that. It was tighter, it didn't feel right. I mean, I love the wackiness of that thing. Yeah,
that definitely, especially the kink in the round bowl. I thought the square pull was pretty perfect, really. I don't remember
the face wall had a big kink in it.
Oh well, yeah, but you know, I
had to drop it and grind over it.
Yeah,
you know, that wasn't good. Just
exactly.
It had a kink.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and it was lumpy as hell.
False wall.
But like that pull on that wall that you're facing, the square thing. I remember trying frontside inverts on that, getting straight up and then just falling straight down.
Oh yeah, that middle wall was gnarly.
Oh my God. Yeah. But I figured if I could do that, I would have won the contest.
Yeah. Few people really approach that middle wall.
But I never made it. I slammed twice, and tears are coming out of my eyes. I'm walking out, and they're like, "Are you all right?" I'm like, "No."
Really?
Oh shiz. Yeah, that was definitely a good pull for me. And I'm sure it was for you, just because it was a power pull.
Again, I mean, like we judge them on how we do at the time. Like I got 5th of the Gold Cup series there. To me, that was respectable. You know, my competitors were Tony Hawk and Chris Miller. And
no, man, that's
the cream of the crop of skateboarding.
But, okay, like you're right. You had. I mean, we all had like our competitors and stuff, and you know, I used to look at my competitors. You know, like Steve Alba. I always knew Steve and Mickey in that pool. Okay, how am I going to beat those guys?
For sure.
You know,
they had lines for days.
Dwayne too.
Freaking day.
Yeah, Dwayne too. Yeah. You know, and but like at that pool, I never worried about Eddie because Eddie was a technical skater like Tony Hawk and had his technical tricks, and I just was like, he can't do half the tricks in this pool, you know, because it was too big, and it just wasn't. Yeah, it was just too brutal, and.
And those little idiosyncrasies are tough that no one can ever really see. We can talk about them because we were there, and a lot of people just can't see it. You watch the footage, you don't get it. But like I said, like axling that corner to me is like, Jesus, really? Like,
Yeah,
that's insanity.
So like, there's things for me, like when Tony. Okay, so Tony Hawk has that footage. He has all the footage now, and he has the footage.
And I want to see that. I want to see all those contests.
Everybody,
that's like I've been waiting my whole life to see the best I ever did. Was the Gold Cup Big O, series. I'm like, I want to see that.
Yeah. Me too. But anyway,
dear Tony.
Yeah,
please
it's coming. He's working.
Please have a release party.
Tony wants to do it.
I know.
When I talked to him just last week, he told me, like, Dave. I was like, okay, Tony, I know you're working on it. He's got a million things going on, man. That guy's the busiest guy.
But in his life, though, because all the million things he have are because of that.
Yeah, that's right.
So fueled and fueled inside of just his being. And watching his movie where that. What I felt after watching his movie, and I don't mean this personally, Tony. I was like, God, I'm glad I'm not Tony Hawk. I mean,
right?
Because there's an obsession that brewed through him to prove. I was an average, middle of the road kid, average size as far as I was concerned, average talent. I was sexual. I mean, Tony was a skinny little kid, and I think felt the brunt of being picked on. And so a lot of this feels like it was just.
I don't know how many people know how much he got picked on.
How much he did?
Yeah.
Well, he was just a scrawny little kid. I never picked on him because to me he was just a little kid. It was nice. I still remember the first time my brother came back and said there was a kid ripping at Del Mar going 6 feet out. Like, what was his name? Tony Hawk. I go, no way. You know what I mean? Because Tony did like varials, but they were below the coping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he was so little, he had no muscle strength. The boards were so heavy back then and all that.
Down one side
well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think I saw him during. So my brother comes back and goes, "Oh, by Del Mar," and this kid was like flying through the air, and I asked him his name. He goes, "Tony Hawk." I was seriously like, "You're kidding me, right?" I don't know. My train of thought got lost on that, but yeah, Tony's. Watching his movie, I was like, sort of like, "Wow, man, that's like you were just so possessed." Like I would never. Any trick, even a basic trick, there's no way I would ever do it 20 times to make it. Like, to me, because I guess him and a lot of guys like your typical pro skaters, they would literally spend 8 hours at skate park. I never was more than an hour or two at the skate park guy. Maybe a couple years in my youth at Big O or like that, but I always had so much other shit going on. And later as I got married really young, I started companies and stuff like that. I was always working. So my skate sessions were like, I have an hour and a half, and I'm gone. And a lot of guys would go there all day long. So the mentality might have been different. Yeah, I couldn't. I've never done I've never done where I try to trick 20 times. I don't think. I always have 3-trick rule. You try it 3 times. If you don't make it, you're not ready yet.
50.
Yeah, never happened. I watched Christian when they were closing the combi, they're closing that new pool at the Vans before they tore it out and built the combi, whatever the Clover they built there.
Yeah.
He wanted to ollie the channel. Yeah. And we were all videotaping like that, and he did 50 tries. Yeah. He made it. Yeah. But I was just thinking, like, what a damn warrior. You're a warrior. You're a Marine on the front line warrior. I'm doing in the back. I'm like a colonel with a binoculars. And I just don't want to, I'm still here, but I'm not doing that kind of battle. Yeah. So.
All right. What's P9? What was your favorite part of all the parks that you skated? Like, what memory do you have of like a favorite park, pool, half pipe? And I'm talking around the United States.
Yeah, I like Big O because it's my local. I think it was a very well-rounded park because it had places I could go warm up in the reservoir, take some runs of 3/4 pipes, ride the little holiday bowl, and just cruise.
That 3/4 pipe was so rough.
It was rough, but I had it wiretaped in the local place, so I just had the lines. You knew where to go, and then I'd ride what's called the holiday bowl in the back.
I didn't think about that.
And I had lots of lines there that most people wouldn't know because again, it was kind of like Mickey and Steve at Upland. You know all the lines. Right. And then I would ride the Clover to warm up and the keyhole. And I actually like the keyhole more than the combi. Or not combi. The
little keyhole?
The keyhole is right next to the what do you call it? The capsule. Yeah. But then the capsule towards the end, when they tore it out, is when I started kind of getting more into the capsule. But I really like the keyhole better. Yeah. But so that was probably the best times I had. I liked the parks of that era in the sense that they're so different than what kids today have seen. They've never, I guess they're starting to see it. Like La Quinta, you have the pro shop, that's the original skate park. A pro shop, a lounge, a hangout, a snack bar, it was a community place. And then
think about Big O too is like right behind, right across the street, there was that strip mall.
Oh yeah, so
it had everything. There was everything sandwich like that, shops and all that kind of stuff too in there.
So I was definitely a big fan of Big O. I thought Colton was laid out pretty cool. Not necessarily saying it was the best skate spot. I mean, I'm trying to think if I can even think of a place that I actually even liked close to as much. I mean, Big O, I just had enough stuff that I had wired enough. That was my favorite place because it had like the warm up zone, the pipes, the the big pool, the small pool.
I think
the
that's just what it
sketchy,
is.
kinky half pipes that were like 4 feet avert and only 6 feet tall, and I could still do a tail tap in them because I skated them every day, and and stuff like that. So yeah, Big O was certainly my best time in skateboarding. Not to mention, like I said, I literally didn't. I missed a lot of the parks. I didn't travel to all of them. I was a pretty,
Okay, so at this time, though, like skateboarding, the park stuff started closing down. We're starting to jump on ramps. So P10, I got to go skate this ramp. Had a great time on it. It was like perfect. But I see you flying on it pretty well here.
Fallbrook ramp.
Yeah, the Fallbrook ramp.
Yeah, that was a pretty magical place.
I remember Jason Jesse came there one day. I was there and fell on 3 frontside airs right in front of me in a row. Took his board, whipped it up to his car, flying, man. He threw it a long way. Came right down and broke his windshield.
Oh yeah, well, that's one of those that serves you right when you're.
But there's all these cars that were parked up there, and it went and hit right on his car, man. Oh my gosh! And he just walked up there, grabbed that thing, threw his board in the car, and then he drove off down the dirt road. Man, I was just waiting for him to take the whole fence out. He was so mad. I'll never forget that. That was a fun scene, though. That was one of the places that he was fun to skate with.
the ramps, and what kept a few of us skating always was willing to drive an hour here or whatever to still get a skate session. We weren't skating every day anymore because there wasn't a local place.
Right.
But there'd be like that one Skilly's ramp. We showed you where you have more pictures of. This was Fallbrook. And the sessions took place there. So once or twice a week, there's a session going on, and you'd go there, and it would be like a Jason Jesse or a, Lester would go or something like that.
I mean, that's a big air right there. That's a big air.
I did pretty big airs for my time. Not necessarily as big.
But the next photo is even radder.
Yeah.
I really like the next one.
The rad thing about that photo is Neil Blender shot it.
Neil Blender shot that photo.
It's amazing how he got the like you can see like my face, if you look clearly, it's pretty clear. It's most of my board, but the background's all blurry. It's a great composition.
Yeah.
And the angle, how low he shot it.
Yeah.
It looks like I'm like 7 feet out. I'm probably like 6 inches out. He's just really good at knowing how to do that.
Just the fact that your board looks like it's 2-3 feet above your head.
Yeah,
upside down.
I'm really envious of that now because I don't do much of anything where my head's gone below my board. That's just not happening. So.
That's one of the best gun airs I've ever seen.
Yeah, and you know what? I never met Gunner till like about the last decade. Love that guy. What a good human.
He is, man. He is amazing. So anyway, and then back to more pipe fun. Now that's the original Upland right there.
That's the original Upland. That's pretty early days too. That's my very first GNS, like 1983 model. So short nose.
Was that Jim Grayboard? Or
that was Jim Grayboard. Yeah.
Okay.
And then that
was the
little Devo man who my friend in high school drew that. Who later trying because it's all angular lines. He became an architect. I always loved that. But yeah, no, I like that, and that was early GNS days, and yeah, that was so different than. I just imagine a kid riding out of there now. A lot of kids could do that. That's height, that angle, but the equipment they're landing on is so different.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And you know what? Like right there at that point, that had like a really weird lip to land into.
It was odd. It was banky.
Yeah,
lumpy.
It was like a bank landing into a bank, and you could get pitched on that pretty easy.
Yeah. And again, I'm definitely know that my weakness, if anything, is style. It's not the most stylish one I've ever seen. If it was Chris Miller doing it, it would be.
Well, the only thing is,
that's pretty.
If your hands were like this, and maybe had one.
I think I'm better at my hands now when I do a grind. Like I don't know, it's come with age.
Yeah, you slowed down a little bit.
All the accessories were copers, lappers.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, I was gonna cheat in every way I could.
Exactly.
I didn't want to hang up.
Well, the next photo,
that's a pretty gnarly one, though.
Yeah, that's a super gnarly one because that is not very wide. Well, you had to go straight up and down on everything.
I think they were 8 feet wide. Maybe they were 12 feet wide. I think they were 8 feet wide. No flat bottom. Yeah. No deck on one side. No, which leads me to a story there. Like I don't know if it's that photo, but from that session, if you scroll at some of the photos I have, you'll see Tony Hawk, Lester Kasai. It was an awesome
session.
And they were
always had no too good people. I did a couple of them seeing for those.
Yeah, they were little, kids. But see, I remember I rock and rolled over that once where there is no deck.
Yeah,
and did the stall hold it. and I fell over the back.
Oh yeah.
And worse than that is I fell towards the trailer was on the backside.
Uh-huh.
So I'm looking at the trailer as I'm falling off the top of the whatever, probably 9 feet or something like that, and I ended up straddling it to not, and I just held my legs just firm enough not to just crush my nuts, you know. But yeah, that's my story about that one is going over the back of that.
So in other words, you probably wouldn't do a rock and roll over that again.
No, probably not. But that day I probably did. I probably got right back.
Actually, it's funny. Yeah, I skated something like that, and I never did it. I used to work on board slide to fakies on that type of a thing at the
Which is a gnarly trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done a couple of my life.
Got that, man.
Yeah.
I thought it was Gail Webb's.
Yeah,
I think Gail Webb's. Yeah, that was,
I think she brought it.
Yeah, that was when Gail was still hauling around.
So this is 82? 81, 82?
Somewhere between 82 and 84. How's that? I don't know if it's that early as 81. It could probably 82, 83 maybe.
So P14, what is that one? What is that picture?
Yeah. P4, I love you're calling him P, but P14. Picture 14 on Dave's notepad, and I'm supposed to know what the hell that is. They didn't send me a copy in advance. They violated my contract. No green M&Ms. I protest. It's a conspiracy to crush my podcast.
I hate to say it, man.
I only have 3 listeners. They're trying to get me down to 2, so they can get up to 7.
But we are,
you know.
we are the 2.
You're the 2. I love that.
Yeah, that's all right.
That is Skilly's Ramp in Westminster. It was built by my good friend Robbo, one of the first guys I actually lost. People have been dying the last few years, but Robbo was 38 when he passed away, and he built the Vans Parks. I mean, he was just like, he was a sweet man. I loved his. I still call his mom and dad every year or so and say hi. You know, it's like his sister, just a good guy. And but he built that elliptical transitions, which was very rare. Yeah. Wood coping on one side. But yeah, that was when I used to like to do big ass airs. Yeah. You know, I still like to do them, but it's not necessarily as easy. The gnarly thing about this photo is not pretty high air, but you know the craziest thing about it is the wide side is the other side. I'm coming towards the narrow side of the channel, and I don't even know if it's 8 feet wide on the side I'm landing. You know, or it's about 8 feet wide max.
6 feet.
When I look at that picture, I'm going, I was launching towards the edge. Yeah. And I've always had that problem. If I rode an 80-foot wide ramp, I went off the side. If I rode an 8-foot wide ramp, I went off the side. You know, for some reason I could still ride the 8-foot ramp, but I would still end up going off the side. But if it was 80 foot, I'd also find my way to get all the way to the edge and fall off the side. Yeah. All right. Well, this is back to the mini ramp. This is a rad photo because Todd Swank shot this photo. Oh, Swanky. Yeah, Swank just one day showed up there, shot a roll of film, and gave me the roll. So I developed them. Really? This is like before Swank was even like a magazine photographer. I don't think. And he just gave me that. And I developed them. And I literally have like probably a dozen good photos. I have invert photos and other photos. But that was a ramp called the Scab Ramp. Jinx lived right behind it in the alleyway. It was downtown Huntington, like literally a block from Jinx lived in the house in the alley. They called it the Blue Death. I think several people lived in Blue Death. It was like the party zone, you know, little crazy, like little studio apartments. And yeah, that's 2-3 foot air, and that ramp is about 4.5 feet high and has about 1.5 feet of vert on it. That was the crazy thing. That's the best part. Yeah. Might be 5 feet tall. I wouldn't even know. I'm sure some of the diehard locals could tell you, but I think I'm saying it was between 4 and 5 feet high and a minimum of a vert. I use those all the time. Because when I didn't have sponsors for gloves, I used to envy the ads of Sims ads, those beautiful bitchin' gloves. How cool would that be? I go, but no one's giving me gloves, so I'm going to frickin' Ollie's or Home Depot or whatever, Builder's Emporium. Before there was a Home Depot. They lasted longer than Sims gloves ever. It probably did. Well, sometimes I'd buy the cloth ones when I didn't have a lot of extra cash. If I had the money, I'd buy the leather ones because they would last longer. I would always get, you know what? I had some Sims gloves. They almost killed me, and so I got rid of them. Did you catch your finger on them or something? Oh yeah, that's that. Yeah, I've done that before. And the same thing with the Rectors. I used to cut the fingertips off, and just because your fingers would grab the bolts. I have pansy hands, so I never really got roughened, hardened hands, so I always wore gloves. And I used to do gray slides, and I would slide my hand. Yeah. If you do that on a ramp and you don't have a glove on, you get splinters in your hand. Oh yeah. So with ramps, with pools, it was one thing, but in ramps, you'd slide, and I mean, if you did it right, your foot was sliding a foot with you, you know, while you're sliding. And Mason, I wasn't a thing yet. Or some of the ramps. I mean, like I look at this ramp right here where your foot is, and
look how rough that is.
And that's that's a 3 foot deep ramp
right there.
Oh, well, that's like a 3 foot. That's a 3 foot side of the ramp. The other side was the one where I was doing the channel, and that's Robbo, who's waving in the background. Kind of. That's my buddy. Rest in peace, buddy. I love you and always will. I do miss that man. He was one of my best friends skateboarding.
Yeah, we have a lot of that.
That's also Robbo's ramp. And that's a 1 foot mute air. I used to love just dangling my foot.
I thought that was called a Weddle now.
Well, I think it has been renamed. I think Tony officially declared that or something like that.
Yeah,
so good. Chris Weddle, good man. He rode Big O Skate Park with us. So I apologize. I'm still not really in tune with all this. That I'm not allowed. The Monty Nolders.
Well, that's why That's why now. Yeah, exactly. That's why now I'm trying to get everybody's.
You're being PC. You're being PC. Okay. All right, so now we now call disaster frontside disasters now frontside Jim Jam. We're taking credit.
You make sure the money that's under the table for that one.
I don't think that'll ever happen. That was.
So how long did you skate for GNS? How long were you there?
Probably from 79-ish, I think, till 86.
Wow.
I think 86. And I literally, I confused. I quit really for no reason. They'd become like mostly a surf clothing company. Loved them. Skateboarding was kind of in a dead zone. When you're a 25-year-old skateboarder, you're already way past your prime, right? You're gone. The fact that you even are still considered a skateboarder is ridiculous. And I just kind of quit. I was going to go off and do my own thing. And I ended up writing for a bicycle company for Bob Harrow.
Really?
I realized Bob Harrow made pads.
Yeah.
So I was on his team with Alan Losey and Lester Kasai, Billy Ruff, and we had a good team of guys just wearing the elbow and knee pads. I become friends with Bob, who, to be honest, you want to set the record straight as far as like the whole attitude, like skateboarders are so cool. Bob Harrow was a rad guy. He was intelligent. Cool. He was creative. He was artistic. He was kind. And a lot of people in the skateboard industry were assholes, right? So I'm like, okay, do I write for some asshole? Or do I write for this really nice guy who he was also very talented at what he did in BMX? I liked his pads. I don't know. He goes, maybe we should make a model, and so we literally made a Jim Gray model and some other boards. So they're very should be collectible boards because they were only like really one run. Then some big bike distributor bought the company, and they're like, we don't want to make skateboards. Right. So we shook hands, and I moved on, and then I went and I ended up at Blockhead. Okay, that's a whole story in and of itself. Yeah.
Okay, well, I kind of got that right then because I wasn't sure how that was.
That was a little filler. It was a very short-lived thing, but it was.
So give me some tour with all your team guys.
I didn't do many of them.
Pineapple,
but I didn't do many tour things with those guys. I did a few. Okay, well, Pineapple, Steve Cathy. There would be the Steve Cathy in the bathroom making out with some girl while Pineapple's peeing in a beer bottle and some girls drinking it. And 2 hours later, our windows are being broken in the hotel because some brothers are coming back here. I'm like, I'm too young for this. I'm not making out with anybody or even drinking beer. And I'm getting threatened with my life because these older guys are. Yeah, that actually is a real story.
Oh my God.
So,
yeah, we got Doug coming here next week.
That's fine. You ask about that. About the beer bottle. I believe it was Upland. It was not general. I think it was a conference in Upland.
Actually, now that you say that, I kind of remember that shit.
Oh yeah, no. And Steve's the team manager is completely unaware because he's in the bathroom, locked the door with some girl. We're like, okay, Steve's getting lucky. We're like with the two other girls that I don't know, and Pineapple's guys are flirting with him. Someone literally peed in the beer bottle, and the girl drank it. And it was like, oh my God, like this doesn't taste good. Ick, what is it? Like, oh my God. Then they ran out of there. Her friend Steve probably never even got to enjoy his whole time because she came running out of the bathroom too. And I'm just like a 16-year-old kid going, like, don't have me killed, please. And literally someone came at like 1 in the morning or 2 in the morning and broke the window in the hotel. It was
that's good, man. That's
probably one of my.
That's what makes rock stars up. Anyway, what was your okay? Other than
19. Hi.
Other than
P19, is it P.19?
Yeah, it's picture 19.
Picture 19. I'm figuring that out by now.
Yeah, you're getting it.
I learn. I may not be smart, but I learn.
So, what was your favorite contest of all the times?
I think probably Big O Gold Cup. The highest I scored in Big O, 3rd place. I did, and it was because
you make like $500, $700.
Oh no, it was amateur. There's no money. No, this was just glory. I have a wooden trophy sitting on a shelf somewhere with some etching on it.
My little
etching. It doesn't have my name on it. It just says GNS 5th, 3rd. Oh, it might have my name on it. I don't know, but 5th place GNS. Where I think it was GNS. Was it GNS? No, who did the Big O? Whoever sponsored it?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's me. I talk a lot. I'm rambling. But the Big O, that was probably my favorite one because I think Steve Cathy. Because I like to go fast, go big. That's when it screwed me up in contests because I was more concerned about having fun and going big than I was planning my run to be perfect and I have to win. So I would usually overamp and grew up, you know, yeah. So, but I was at my home park. It was all amped out, big event. Clearly, you know, stands are filled with people. I remember Steve Cassidy going, Jim, just go for it. You know what I mean? So I dropped in. I did the biggest backside air I ever heard of. You're probably one of the only people who competed with those back then. People told me that. Dave Anders was one of the only guys who did backside airs that you would go on that height. Because someone told me they could see me from the clover pool back there launching over everyone's head, and I just went for it. And it was just like, and so that's why I'm waiting to see that damn Ray Allen footage, because it's on there. I have never seen it, you know. But
oh man,
yeah, that was probably the most. And it worked. I stayed on the whole time, and I charged and went fast and went high, and you know. So
did he say it with confidence, like, Jim, go out there and do it?
Yeah, he's like, okay. He goes, I usually tell you to calm down, or whatever. Just if this is your home place, just go for it.
Go have some fun with it.
And then the other thing I can say was really fun, and this is probably just because circumstantial. This is probably in the mid '90s. Well, I mean, I was stoked. I won the first ever Masters contest they ever had. They had a Masters vert contest.
I have that picture. I have that coming up.
Yeah. And I got that was pretty cool. That was a pretty awesome thing.
Wait, it's
no, P97. I'm sorry.
Here it is.
Well, you're asking about contests. That was a contest. I've only won a couple contests in my life. I wasn't the winner, so I won that one that made me proud. I won a mini ramp contest, like I haven't. Maybe it's still the '90s. Me and Jinx. It was in Venice, and the fun part about winning it was me and Jinx drove up through traffic through L.A. from Orange County. We're stuck. We get there. We're in that announcer like, okay, the Masters division, whatever's starting, and they're like, oh, hey, there's Jim and Jinx. Do you guys want to enter the contest? And we're like, yeah. And like, okay, well, there's no time for practice. So I got no practice, and I won the contest. And then NoHo and to Chris Cook and all the like local Venice guys had been there practicing their gnarly tricks all day long. And all they did was they screwed up because they tried too hard to do their gnarly trick. And I just dropped in and just charged. Had fun. And and I got lucky and I won, but it kind of made. And I think Jinx got second or third too. So it was pretty fun.
I have the picture of it. So we'll see it. I was just like thinking of, okay, so Big O contest was a lot of fun. I don't know if you had Colton contest.
I don't know how I did those. I liked Colton all those, but like I know I got, I believe, I guess sometimes I think I got third at one Gold Cup, fourth at another, and fifth at the other. I don't know what I got at Marina or it. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen the full results on those, so I'm assuming I screwed. I got eighth overall, so I didn't too bad, but.
All right, Tracker ad.
Tracker ad, yeah.
How about that?
They're good.
That was right after Megatron. Did you have a problem quitting Megatron trucks for Tracker?
Man, when it comes to trucks, there's politics, there's ego, there's attitude, Mr. Goldwing, no. So Megatron was a casual thing. I met someone at Skateboard gave me some Megatron trucks and wheels. I shot some ads, which I don't think I ever even saw. And then they disappeared. All right, so. I rode Big O as a local. Dwayne asked me if I wanted to ride Indy, believe it or not.
Wow.
And Lance Smith, I think, asked me if I wanted to ride trackers. Okay. At the time, there wasn't so many Indy tats on dudes' balls around the country, so there wasn't so like, I'm so cool to have Indies. So it's like, okay, I've always cared more about my equipment, how it works for me, not about what brand it is or how cool you are. And I just go, I'll try them both. So I went to Dwayne's house and he gave me some Indies and then I got some trackers and I rode them both. I like trackers. So it worked better for me. And that's just the way that is. And then later I actually became partners with Larry Ballman. Larry Ballman and I were partners in business.
I had no idea.
1986, we had a company called Brainstorm Designs, it was called. I sold all the advertising for Transworld Skateboarding magazine for like 4 or 5 years. I flew to Vegas to start the Snowboard magazine by myself when I was 23 years old.
Really?
And
I had no idea.
So I build Transworld. It wasn't on their payroll. I built them from Brainstorm Designs. I did like the tracker watches. I did the tracker wheel program, which became A1 Meets. I got all that stuff launched.
Okay, I remember that.
But that was all done through what's called a company called Brainstorm Designs that Larry and I started. So. Okay. And then Transworld started in that general area, and that ad was actually one of, I think, 10 or 12 ads they put in because it was sort of like, hey, if we're going to invest in a magazine, we should throw a bunch of ads in there. Maybe it's a photo annual or something like that. But yeah, Jinx was one of my better skate friends. Yeah. And so I was stoked. That was his backyard that we were skating. Okay. And we did inverts towards each other, which was kind of fun, So where are you guys, where's Jinx at now? Jinx in Huntington. I saw him like last week, where we still talk all the time.
I haven't seen. I saw him. I don't know. Oh, actually, last time I saw him was at the Vans thing.
Yeah, still a great skater. Yeah. I mean, he's just like I took him to Chris Conway's ramp here in Vista a couple weeks ago. After 15 minutes, figuring. I mean, he started doing shit like you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
People were stoked to see him. I mean,
Good.
Jinxes.
Was he helping Lucero too?
He is helping Lucero now.
Okay, rad.
Yeah, and he worked with me at Acme. We did Channel 1 together.
You and Bo.
And Bo, on camera. We had a good
BB.
Yeah. BB. Love BB. Love you, Bo Brown. Duncan Brown. I don't even know your real name is Duncan. I do.
See, now we know.
Duncan. Yeah, Duncan.
All right.
Yeah, he doesn't like birds. Don't give him a bird for a present. Do not give Bo Brown a bird.
I just found out Chicken's real name. I just saw Chicken,
Barrett,
for the first time. And I was like, Chicken.
Barrett Deck. How's that? He's a skateboard business. His last name is Deck.
Is it really?
How cool is that?
I didn't ask him that.
Deck. Barrett Deck.
No, I was just went up to see him the other day because I had some questions about some old graphics that he did to see if he still had them. And he does. And he's like, absolutely, Dave. And I'm like, all right, Chicken. I know 40 years I've known you for Chicken, but what the hell's your real name? And he told me, and I was like, you're kidding me, right?
I suck with names because that name is very unusual. For some reason, it sticks in my head. Barrett.
Yeah, man. Pretty crazy. All right, so where are we now? Tracker.
We're 3 hours in, and we've got down 4 questions out of 99.
All right. Was there...
I've got down 5, and I'm going to have to stop in the bathroom soon because I'm 60. And unfortunately, I may act 15, but my prostate is 60.
Yeah.
So I think I'm 35. I look not a day over 59 3/4, but I am 60 and my prostate is too. So I have to go to the bathroom. So.
Okay, I guess you want to take a break then? Are you ready or do you want to go?
No, we can wait a couple more minutes.
Okay, wait a few more minutes.
If my pants aren't wet, I'm let me check my Depends.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not wet yet. So
You didn't bring your catheter?
no, I didn't bring my catheter.
Oh shit! That's not even funny, but it's totally fucking true.
It's not funny, but it's reality. So if you can't, that's what I gotta say. If you can't laugh at life, then you just can't laugh.
Right.
All right. So tell me something happened at like one of the crazy demos, other than peeing in a bottle.
Crazy demos.
Yeah, I mean, you've gone to a ton of demos, and I know, my crazy stories was, in fact, it was a GNS thing that I went to. I was repping at the time for GNS, so this had to have been like 85.
Like GNS sports stores or something?
No. I didn't go. No. This was up in Sepulveda.
Okay.
And I drove Billy Ruff up to it. Anyway, they had this huge demo, and there was a bar that was there, and somebody a guy with a pool stick actually got pissed and broke out the window, and then blamed the skaters that were outside.
Oh, great, yeah.
Yeah, and then the bar owners came out and flipping out, and we found out that it was finally that, but by that time, skateboarders already broke out windows. Then they called the cops showed up, and then the car got set on fire in the parking lot, and then they told us the helicopters showed up, and that's when we were like, okay, we got to get out of here.
If you got anything really gnarly, I was there when the whole Virginia Beach Gator thing broke a cop window or something like that, and that was crazy because it was just scrambles and but I was there when Mike Vallely threw a chair at a security guy in Hawaii mini ramp contest, and that became a quick scuttle. I mean, just some random stuff.
Did Mike beat up the whole entire Hawaiian police force?
No, in that particular case, just one security guard. It was during practice, so it was pretty. It went relatively unscathed, I think. It's one of the craziest demos I did. I mean, how I've seen most of this country stuff was Gotcha. Gotcha Clothing was my sponsor in the 80s.
Oh wow, okay.
And again, I was bottom guy in the totem pole. Mike Crookshank. Surfer was a team manager.
Okay.
I was kind of, I was a low man on the totem pole. I knew it. We had Lester Kasai, Steve Caballero, Rob Roskop. These guys were a little bit more heavy hitters. Yeah. I was hey, Jim comes along. Lester liked me because we were good friends, and he also trusted me because I looked after him.
Right.
So whenever they would send Lester go, I want Jim with me. Yeah. So I basically went on every demo with Lester. So I got to see 35 states or something like that with Lester. But one we went to in Minneapolis was a Dayton Hudson department store. And they were going to put a vert ramp there. I guess they had an auditorium on the 8th floor at the top of the parking structure or whatever.
Yeah.
And this was in the heyday of the 80s, and 5,000 kids showed up. Okay, so you're in a mall, in an indoor mall, not like in the parking lot. You're in an indoor mall in the city, downtown, and 5,000 kids show up. So they had to turn all the escalators off in the going up, so the kids were literally stuck on stairs walking. They could only let 1,000 kids in at a time.
Wow.
So we ended up we're doing 5 demos. So it's okay, this demo's gonna last a half hour, then we're gonna sign a few posters, and you kids got to get out of here, and we let the next group in. So that was pretty chaotic to be part of, to be wow, these kids are here to see them, and I'm tag along, but I'm here. And I met a lot of people there. I met like Darren Navarrete was there as a kid, tells me to this day, like, dude, that's why I met you. You guys were, bouncing off the ceiling. It was pretty cool.
Navarrete's rad.
Yeah, that one was pretty rad. I mean, getting, later on the A's one got Omar on Blockhead. He broke his ankle really bad, at a demo. And I literally, because I knew his parents, I called his parents, like, he doesn't want to go local here. So I drove him back to Newport with a broken ankle, like racing back from Val Surf. He broke in the Val Surf parking lot.
Yeah.
Came back to Hoag Hospital. And
I did a demo there once, at the very beginning.
So I've luckily done demos through, I did the Gale Webb demos and sketch in the 90s. Or the late 80s and the early 90s, the Vision had a fold out ramp. They did like Valser's where Omar, and I'd still jump in on those. And heck, I'd still jump in on any demos going on today, just to hell,
Yeah.
just crazy enough.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you this then. We've had 5 generations of skateboarding now? Like pretty much 5 generations.
I think so.
Each generation has added to the next. The way I look at it is like the very first generation of the Logans and all that kind of thing. And then we came in at the pool thing. Like the freestyle, I kind of put that in with the first generation of guys.
Yeah, they were the tail end of that.
Yeah. And then the vert guys came in, then the street guys came in, but that was kind of like a video generation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Each generation's built skateboarding to where it is today.
Yeah.
Is there one of the generations that really, really progressed the sport?
Well, yeah, it was.
Right now,
it was a crossover from that first to second generation, as far as I'm concerned. I guess you probably could say first generation was the clay wheels where that would start. But if we're going into like the 70s Bane, blah blah, that kind of being the first generation of guys. As far as I'm concerned, every trick was invented between 77 and like 83.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everything since then has been a variation.
Yeah.
Because during that time, every kickflip, every 360, every air, varials, inverts, every type of, reverts was done in different ways. After that, okay, now I Smith grind into a revert. I go the opposite way. I twist it in another way. I add something to it. But nothing hadn't been done. Every Hurricane, every Smith grind or Monty grind or whatever, they were all done, and now they were just applying them to, and even rails. Now they're doing gnarlier stuff on rails, but they're just combos, right? They're gnarlier approaches. So they're going over the backside and then landing this way, and crooked grind, or whatever. But all the crooked grind, all that stuff was all invented between 77 and 83, and that was our era. Yeah, that's the joy I get out of skateboarding. No matter what happens in the history of skateboarding, I grew up in the time when we're the pioneering era.
Now, do you think any of that stuff, what do you think is going to come back first? Okay, so everything's a circle, right? And, freestyle. Okay,
well, Andy Anderson's already bringing it back.
Yes.
Because Andy Anderson's
he's doing the contest right now.
He's the first multi, every facet of skateboarding kid. He can ride a pool as good as almost any pool rider. Yeah. He can freestyle on freaking Rodney Mullen level in some ways. You know what I mean? Like he can do that. Like I said, some ways, not like, but still, for his talent level, it's unbelievable. Yeah. His balance is. He's in Day One Song balance mode. He's in Rodney Mullen freestyle mode. He's in freaking Peter Hewitt pool mode. He's
and who's he skating for now?
He's for Powell. Okay. He is actually probably the best selling skateboard in skateboarding now. When his board comes out, they're gone. Because I think the young generation is relate because he'll ride a rail and he'll go to a skate park and ride a rail and do a 360 at the top of it on the rail and come out of it. He just has a crazy balance. He's happy. He's smiling. He's breaking every rule. He wears a helmet whenever he skates. Everything he skates, just rides on a flat ground. He puts a helmet on. So he's breaking every rule, and he's so good you can't put him down. So I guarantee some of the diehard straight guys hate him.
And say his name again?
Andy Anderson. Okay. Andy Anderson, yeah. The authentic Andy Anderson. He once was sponsored by a shop named Authentic. And so I did a podcast with him, it means you're real, you're authentic, and no, because that was my first sponsor called Authentic Skate Shop, and it's Authentic Andy Anderson. So, but Andy's he's the true bridging the gap between.
He's the Renaissance of this generation.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a street guy, you can't mock someone who can skate better than you, even if you want to. Yeah. So he has all the things the diehard cool dude street guy wants to mock him. Well, they'll do it anyways. But you're right.
There's a
But
lot of guys who
not as
mock.
they'll mock
anybody.
they'll mock quietly in the background.
Yeah.
Do it publicly, you're
Yeah.
going to get some shit because you can't. I mean, how do you put down a guy who skates better than you? I mean that game. Okay, let's put that back. I could turn pretty good on trackers, and I've gotten laughed at by many guys. Like, oh, you ride the trucks can't turn. I go, why did I go faster than you? Grind harder and turn faster if I'm riding trucks that don't turn.
Right.
Like so.
I'm a going guy, so I got that shit all the time too.
But that's what honestly that's what cowards do.
Yeah.
Cowards tease other people that they can't keep up with.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't tease people unless I can give them a run for their money. Then I'll tease them because it's fun. But it's like
Or if you've done it for 40 years.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just you better back it up. If you're going to tease someone, back it up. If you tease someone behind a closed door, trying to hit fake name on Instagram or that, like, dude, whatever. I'm me. I've always been me. Jim Gray or Gray Slide. Like, I've had some battles in like the slap message board, just calling guys out. Like, you can call me whatever you want, fat old washed up loser. Like, I go, at least I'm Jim Gray, not like Loser Boy 3 in Mommy's basement. You know what I mean? Like hiding somewhere because you don't want anyone to know who you are. It's like, yeah, that's the world we live in now. So.
Yes, most definitely.
Can't let it get you.
But it's still funny. All right, so anyway, GNS days finally kind of coming down, and how did we get into it with Blockhead?
Blockhead was
how was that
probably
transition?
When I was riding for GNS, something like that. I was I did I actually between GNS and Blockhead, I did the Haro thing, right?
20.
Yeah. And actually, can we break now? Can we break now?
Yeah, we can break. Okay, we're gonna take a break.
Bathroom.
Okay. Well, no. Wait.
Okay. Commercial.
Oh, wait. Before we go to a break,
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Holy shit, everybody! Oh my God,
Tim's
this doesn't come
Paris.
yet. We can't do this yet. That comes on the next page.
Am I not?
So
anyway, but
we'll
no.
break to a skateboard commercial.
Okay.
And then when you got to come
Oh wait, would it be
next up? Skateboard commercial here on Skateboard
Let me
Nation.
ask you this then.
This is not your host, Jim Gray. This is your host, Dave Andrew. I take it over.
I forgot who the hell I am.
I know. Who are you?
Okay, wait a minute now. What was your worst injury?
I ruptured my spleen.
Whoa. How the hell did you do that?
6-inch PVC coping on Alex Schroeder's ramp, Ben Schroeder's brother in their backyard, and I hung up and fell straight to the flat bottom. 1984. Ooh. Yeah, I've never broken a bone. But.
Oh my God! You know what? What would have happened in 1984? We could have given him one of these.
Oh my God, Claire! I don't know if that would have repaired my spleen. It makes my wounds feel better. It makes the swelling go down. No, I do like Claire, and I've actually been on his website before, on his Instagram. Hi, this is Jim Gray. I use Claire from Tim's Paris.
Hey, just remember, I want to give that to you. Okay?
You want to give that to me? Okay, all right.
So
Thank
you can
you.
have it.
I appreciate that.
And then my friend here just told me that your Mercedes is done too.
Oh, how nice! Thank you. Well, that was very. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Here we are in the office.
My girlfriend's gonna be like, you again, and all the people you know. You always come back with something. I'm like, Jesus. Like,
we're gonna go to commercial now. Still watching? If you're still watching.
Still watching.
Wait a minute, look at that. There's 5 people watching right now, okay? And 2
in 7 countries.
11 different countries. Oh shit. Anyway, guys, we like it. YouTube. Please subscribe.
Just please subscribe. I came here to try to add subscribers, not have them come fall off, but I know I've probably lost a couple of you.
Happens every time.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, okay, everybody, thank you very much, and we'll be right back. Hey, everybody, and thank you for checking out that commercial. Anyway, Jim and I
that was so cheesy, but I loved it.
Yeah, why not?
I watched I understand.
Yeah,
it's not an easy game to speak in radio voice.
We haven't taught that skill. I will, though.
I like it. It's fun to play with. I've never really done it seriously, but I like to do that now and then. Like, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the show.
Well, we get to do that next week on your show.
Okay, good.
So
yeah, we're gonna do.
I'm going to practice now.
I'm gonna write questions down. I'm trying to learn from you, but I usually do like an hour to hour and 20 minutes. Are we gonna do a 4-hour one if I write questions down?
Yeah. If you want. I mean, it just depends on what you have. I'm
Last night at like 8:30. Hey, where are the other photographs? And I'm like, they're on your laptop.
Yeah, man. I had a bunch of photos of you, and they disappeared, and I don't know what happened to them. And then
photos of me are known to be stolen.
So I had, man.
On the black market, they go for a lot.
Everybody is interested in stealing your photos, man.
I have no idea why, but hey.
So anyway, I had to rewrite and redo the whole damn thing.
Wow,
and,
I'm sorry.
I was up until like 6 o'clock this morning finishing it up.
I like that. So how many photos have we showed so far?
20.
20. We've shown 20. You found 20 photos of me?
Wow. We did.
We found 40.
I got 20 more, but a lot of them are. The next 20 are a little more interesting.
More interesting.
Like I had to take how many photographs he had last night when he texted me, and I go, "You need to whittle that down."
Yeah, I did. I got a lot of photos, and then all of a sudden,
like 93 photographs.
I had to like start like checking them off and deleting them. Like, okay, I'm not going to show that.
Well, see, I'm like the quiet guy. Like I said, I'm not Christian. So I'm not. Chris Miller. I'm not but I've always been involved in stuff. Like Jim Goodrich keeps posting all this stuff, right? Yeah. And I'm in every third one of the ones he posts somewhere because I've had all the events. I'm never the opener of the photo.
Wait a minute, it's always Jim like Goodrich is posting a bunch of photos.
Yeah, he's posting like groups. It's like Jim Goodrich 247 or something like on Instagram. Really? Yeah, but he's been posting historical stuff like from the 70s, 80s, 90s. And I kind of laugh because I'm like I've been in so many of them. I didn't think I was at all these things, but I realized that again I'm the minor player, but I was always there.
I'm gonna look it up because I haven't seen it.
There's no exception.
You know what? I'm not really on Instagram that much, to be honest with you. So
what's funny? I drifted to Instagram reluctantly because I like Facebook is interactive. You communicate, you see what people wrote, you can kind of share and know when people are replying and like that. Instagram seems so like just put it out there, and eventually I kind of learned to be okay with that. And Facebook seemed like it used to die. I was posting something on Instagram and like hundreds of people would like it. You post it on Facebook and nobody even saw it. The same thing. And then recently I kept sharing my stuff from Instagram and I kind of accidentally went on Facebook and said, oh shit, more people like commented on Facebook and I didn't even reply to them. What a dick. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like Facebook sort of came back to life a little bit. So right now it seems like Facebook's sort of alive again. And I'm only getting used to that because I used to, kind of go on Facebook more.
I get on it maybe once every 3 days or so.
I just broadcast. It's part of my life because just same as I talk too much, I guess I'm kind of ADD or something. A lot goes on in my head. I happen to do a lot of things, know a lot of people, take a lot of pictures. So that's sort of my creative outlet. I just spew. Like, there's my story. Like, what does do? Like, I show you 1 out of 1,000 pictures I take, and that's my story. And you go, but your story was 100 pictures. Yeah, it's 1 out of 1,000. But
Okay, so let's get back to it. On 21.
P21. Q21, please.
Where is it? Where is this?
I'm going to guess. It's skateboards.
Yeah, I wanted to get in the blockhead thing.
Okay.
So I want to know more because I remember GNS kind of dropped off, and then we started on blockhead.
Yeah, and like I said, I did the Haro thing for a short time. Yeah, and then it fell off because they were purchased by another company and they didn't want to do skateboards. So I was like, okay, it's time to figure something out.
Okay.
Well, maybe a year before that, year and a half, I had gone on a demo somewhere in Arizona. Okay. And I saw a blockhead board on the wall, and I was like, oh damn. I didn't really pay a lot of attention to skateboards because, like I said, I didn't buy them. I got them for free for my whole life. So I walked into a skate shop. I saw the ads in the magazine, but I didn't really spend a lot of time staring at boards on the wall. But I noticed the blockhead ones. First thing in years that really stood out. So I asked him to show me one, and it was the blockhead. It was called the Meaning of Life board. Looked at it, I go, this is really cool. Like, who are these guys? Oh, there's some skaters up in Sacramento. I go, yeah, rad. I go,
I didn't know it was out of Sacramento.
It was out of Sacramento, Roseville, which is a little suburb of Sacramento. Okay. Ran a little dentist's office. Just guy Dave, his brother Kevin helped, and a bunch of friends. And and I was looking at this. These boards were graphically, as far as I was concerned, they were better than what Vision and Santa Cruz and all these guys were doing at the time, and they were made same place. So I'm like, this is kind of cool. So when doing the Haro thing. During that, I went to a trade show, and I walk out. Remember how ASR trade shows used to be the big rectangle building at Long Beach, and then the round building. The round building was like the offshoot building where they put the newbies or whatever. You know what I mean? And I walk around this out in the very corner of the round building. I see these little notch nose cutouts things, blockhead skateboards. And I just walked up and introduced myself to Dave, and I said, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you. I go, I've seen a lot of skateboards for a lot of years, and yours is the first that really caught my eye in a long time." good job, high five, keep it up, that was it, just giving him some props, saying hi, introducing some, and as I'm kind of walking away, Dave's pretty shy, and Dave's like, well, if you're ever like between sponsors, we could use like a bigger name guy or something like that. And like, I go out, hey, I keep that in mind, and so when the viral thing blew up, I thought, I'm going to call that Blockhead Kid and say like, let's do something fun, and again, they were pretty small, and I had better connections. I'd done the tracker wheel program, so like that. So basically made a deal with Dave, got him hooked up with like the Hyper Wheels guys, and we started making wheels. So Blockhead was very successful in the wheel market when they first came out. So I basically helped Blockhead expand and become a little bigger company while getting to do something fun and creative with real skaters, not guys that skated once who started skateboard companies. But
they weren't up there the whole time, weren't they?
No, I actually ended up being part of it. I got them moved down here because Larry Ballman and I were partners in Brainstorm Designs. The tracker wheel program and all stuff that was affiliated with the tracker Balma world. And Dave had grown to a point where he's growing, but I don't know. I basically, I can't remember exactly how the deal came together, but I got Blockhead licensed to tracker. So the reason that Blockhead Ramp and Fallbrook and all that happened is because Dave now got a check for whatever 6 figures for all his inventory, right? For Tracker to take over, and he moved down here and bought his house in Bonsall. So even the Blockhead Ramp wasn't mine. I didn't build it, but I had a little bit to do with it silently in the background, right? So Blockhead moved down here. I used to get a little piece of the royalties because I arranged the deal, and so Dave got most of it. I got a little cut of it, so I had a little. Some people think I owned Blockhead, but no, I just kind of had a little piece of it. But I was stoked because I was riding this very creative brand that was guys. They were super passionate. As far as I'm concerned, they were the first guys who were really building all this crazy DIY stuff. I mean, they were building little ramps under houses, up against walls. They were doing stuff like long before it.
The Blockhead ramp kept evolving.
Well, it did evolve, but that started up in Sacramento before they were there. They had wacky ramps up there, and they had ramps inside their dentist's office warehouse like that. So these guys were really kind of on the cutting edge of that show that eventually came out with Built to Shred. Remember that show? That was all about building wacky things. I mean, that kind of stemmed off like his connections to the Blockhead guys. That was the start of that. Laban, was part of it, and and Dave actually ended up filming a lot of stuff and doing a lot of sets. So it was kind of cool. Blockhead was just a real creative force, and I think in the history of skateboarding, might be one of the absolute coolest, truly owned by a skater companies, that's come out.
Okay, let's go to 22, and I want to see this photo.
Jesus Christ, where did he come from? Oh, that's not Jesus Christ, that's me. Wow. Well, first I can describe it in a nutshell. Oh, no, we already fast forward to the next one. No. We don't get to talk about Jesus Christ? I'll get that over with really quick. As a kid, always had crew cut, haircut, Irish Catholic dad. You're not going to be one of those damn hippie kind of kids, so I was always very controlled. So as I got older, I kind of held that pent up, like I want to be a hippie thing. And I never really got it until really later in life. And one day I go, I'm just going to grow my hair long. So there's my hippie phase. Went through it. It was fun. Glad it's gone.
You said hippie or Jesus face?
Hippie. Well, Jesus is when I first saw Jesus was on the screen, but it wasn't Jesus. It was actually me. But I'm born on Christmas. So, I have a Jesus complex.
That's right. There it is. All right. So next photo, it's a little bit later, more in your career.
In the last decade. That's in the last decade.
You owned Acme.
That is actually, that's after Acme's done.
Oh, was it?
This is an Acme graphic. I put it over. This is Huntington Beach, Clover, That's just me still having heat transfers. I still have heat transfers, sublimation papers, all that stuff. And whenever I make boards, I quite often make them Acme, even though Acme doesn't really operate on a daily basis. So,
okay. I'm just kind of curious, that's all. Okay. So the next photo is a really fun one for me.
Oh, great.
I do enjoy that.
Oh, there we go,
because that was heyday right there.
I can smell that right now. Smell the sawdust.
I mean, what that was in the building? Where was this now? Was this in Costa Mesa?
That was in Costa Mesa, kind of right by where Hurley was for many years, and so on and so forth. That was a 12,000 square foot building. We built about 10,000 skateboards in the first 6 months, and then 10,000 skateboards the next 6 weeks after that. And just started running, and we did close to 1,000 boards a day for a long time. For about 13 years, I built skateboards. Until just the pressure got too hard from China, and prices were going down, and so we got squished out of that one. But we had a lot of fun, and we made a really damn good skateboard.
I'll tell you one thing. So how many wood shops are still working here in the United States?
There's more. There's probably more now than there was then, but they're in garages.
Yes,
there's a bunch of people. I'm really proud that so many skaters in the last like 5 to 10 years have started making their own little wood shops. They're all like single press guys and things like that, but it still makes me really happy to see. It was I mean, I am to this day the only pro skateboarder that I'm aware of that ever built a skateboard factory.
Tony Mag. Kinda, not as big.
Was Uncle Wiggly?
Yeah,
but that was already hit. That was already owned by somebody, right? He jumped in and got involved. I literally, from scratch.
Doug Ring was the guy who started it. Yeah, and then Tony went in there.
So, I'm not saying there's other guys who haven't been involved. Jamie Thomas bought a wood shop down in Mexico. Right. Like, there's other personers who had wood shops, but I was the only guy that I know that ever actually literally went out and had presses designed. And again, I didn't buy door presses, modify them. I had skateboard presses made, and it was.
Because other ones were just furniture stores flipped into skateboard manufacturing. Like
I still go to Watson. It's awesome. They still make good skateboards, but there's 2 door presses with skateboard molds in them. Yeah. Mine were single cylinder individual presses made for laminating skateboards. And,
how many was that? 14 or 15 in that picture?
Presses, I had 24.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm saying this one photo on the upper right, was that 14 or 15?
That's a bank of 12 cavities, and there's 2. There's like an L shape, 2.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah, and so we press 4 boards per cavity about once an hour, so we can do about 96 boards an hour.
So was this just for Acme, or was this for Acme?
It started for Acme. That was the purpose. Acme Channel 1, whatever like that. Well, and then when the whole thing happened with like World Digital lawsuit, we just our brands kind of had to retreat to keep surviving. Skateboarding went through the roof. Yeah. So I mean, where I really got shortchanged on that is I lost the opportunity to make a bunch of money when skateboarding went through the roof with my brands. Right, I had higher margins and so on and so forth. That's what it was built for. But I had to shift to do it differently, and the guys like Birdhouse needed skateboards, and I needed cash, right? So I was just charging for cash at the time, and I'm like, okay, well, I need you to pay me COD. I'll give you a fair price, and I'll guarantee they'll make you 5,000 skateboards a month, or like that. Right. So Birdhouse definitely helped me initially, but ultimately, and I'll always give credit to Chris Carter from Alien Workshop. He kept me in business for like at least 2 years longer than I could have, because once I did get completely upside down financially, lost a lot of money, and lost my credit with the wood suppliers. Chris Carter bought my wood for me, and he had truckloads shipped to me, and I would pay him, like I get a spreadsheet, 11,000 boards out of this truck. You're getting like 3,500 of them to pay off the truck. The rest of them I sell to other people. So my cash came from sales to other people, but about a third of the production went to Alien Workshop, and Chris Carter, paid for it. And he took a risk doing that, and he knew that.
Huge risk.
And he took a huge risk, because if I would have still shut down, he would have lost money. And but he made himself 100% whole. We're good friends for life, and
that's awesome,
we made Alien Workshop boards. We made Birdhouse boards.
You still talk to him?
On occasion, not as often, but I mean, the relationship's great. I mean, it's just seriously, he's just a good dude. Yeah, and we always got along great. But it was started with the intention of being just Acme Channel 1, our brands, and then we morphed when we had to become.
Were you doing T-shirts?
We did print our own T-shirts like Acme and Scarecrow for a while, but we never did that for anybody. Okay, but we print stickers. Okay, so literally we bought sticker machines before this factory was built in our other building, where we started.
Okay, because you've always been really tight or big with wheels too. Did you ever do your thing? Or?
No, because again, it's the manufacturing setup of it is entirely different, and more expensive. More expensive type of equipment. And have I ever thought about it? Yeah. Have I ever even dabbled when I know someone's for sale or something like that? Have I snooped or looked around? Yeah. Trucks as well. I'm still bummed that Tracker found its way back to Dorfman. I actually started talking to Max DeFore about trying to find a way to buy Tracker, because I would have stirred the pot. I would have, the war would have resumed, and it would have been fun. But then Dorfman somehow stepped in and did that deal. But but I've always been involved in wheels, from the Tracker wheel program, blockhead wheels. Acme we made Formula One wheels, and then I got involved in Powerflex again. So wheels has been one of my big excitement points.
Just one thing that's keeping you busy right now, right?
Yeah, and then
and still doing Powerflex.
I still am doing Powerflex,
and with Blue, and with Mr. Blue,
with Bob Blue's brother Rick and his brother Dave are still involved. Okay, it's fun. We make great wheels are really good. Yeah, but it's a challenging market when the market is so saturated and and narrow-minded. Someone will say, "Oh yeah, I hear your wheels are great. We don't care." Yeah, it's like, okay, that's good. We have Bones, where we have Spitfire. Well, Spitfires suck, but, we don't care.
You
know, well, I know, but they still suck. But that's my opinion. In my opinion, the tires suck. Well, I know they can't hold a candle to ours as far as abrasion and wear and flat spotting, all that. But it doesn't matter. If a kid's willing to spend $40 and flat spot his wheels in 2 weeks and give him another $40, they have forgiving customers. You know what I mean? So more power to them.
Oh my God.
Cute little logo. Cute little logo.
Oh man, I'm gonna get a call from them.
What? I get a call from them. They probably say the same thing about my front, and I think they have 10,000 people to whisper it. That's the way I've always. That's the NorCal versus SoCal thing. I'm SoCal. I say it in your face. NorCal's like, they don't turn. They're sissies. It's like, say it in my face. I'll punch you in the face. You'll say it behind my back.
Jim,
I know.
That's comedy.
Tell it like it is.
Well, I mean, here we are, and which kind of leads me into my next.
Oh, great!
Okay,
Did I set you up? Did I set you up?
You kind of did on P24. So I was just going to say that you've known a lot of people through the years.
Oh, I'm fortunate, man.
And just about everybody in the industry from all levels of skateboarding. Yeah.
I'm really lucky. I don't have the luckiest guy in skateboarding.
And
I've got to be involved in every generation.
You have a really big skateboard family.
Yeah, I do.
And I just chose a couple pictures. This one because it was me and you, and I think it was Doug Marker's
I remember that day you came out to skate. I was like stoked. I was stoked I got to skate with you.
That was Doug Marker's birthday. I think that's when he turned 60. No, I think that was his 60th birthday. I think.
No, this was like
5 or 6 years ago or something.
Was it?
I still had a delivery service, so that's that 7 years ago.
So maybe he was 58 at the time. 58, whatever. It was his birthday party. So anyway.
But still, look at all those rad faces.
I know, man. And then the next picture, even the same, on it. I can't remember who. Oh, yeah.
I was all proud of myself because I photoshopped the GNS logo behind that one.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That photo?
Yeah, that's my photo.
That's cheating.
Yeah.
That's a good job.
Well, yeah, I mean, considering I have no skills at it, I just figured out how. And actually, we made that 3D GNS logo. When I licensed GNS for a few years in the 90s, we took all their logos from Blackline Art to a vector, you know what I mean? So Fiberflex, all of that was just a black line stat camera kind of stuff. And we scanned it all, redid it all. So we redid Fiberflex, redid the original Gordon and Smith logo. I was watching the stuff they were doing on the surfboard and telling Eric, can I send you the logo? Because we redid it. And yours looks like shit. It's all bitmap, it's all whatever. And yo-yo wheels, we redid all that stuff.
Okay, just so people know, when you're sitting there talking about Eric Gordon.
Eric Gordon, Larry Gordon's son.
Yes, who is running the surfboard division along with Devin.
And his sister.
Isn't that Larry in the blue?
It is. Yep.
Is who?
That was Larry. Larry's there.
Oh yeah.
That was 10 years ago. It was one of our first little
I mean, you had McIntyre still in there, and those were the two of the.
Chris is in there.
Yeah, Yandel's in there. So I mean,
I feel honored like that because I'll still go out there and could be in one with, like I said, the Andy Andersons, the younger kids, because I've never stopped skating. Right. But I still have a connection to all the guys in this picture. That's what makes me happy. Yeah, because I can kind of cross through all the generations and not feel uncomfortable. I
don't feel uncomfortable with it. I don't know.
I get a lot of questions from people who weren't around for a long time. Like, hey, who's this? Who's that? Why are these people like even Skate Master Tate? That's how we became so close. I mean, he was the manager at Big O Skate Park. And only a couple years older than me, but back then when you're a kid, he's 18, you're 16. Like, oh my God, he's the big guy. And he went on and did all this cool stuff in the 80s, Skate Master Tate stuff, Skate TV, all that. I didn't know him so well. He came back into skateboarding in the last 15 years, or and all stuff. And he would come by my shop. We'd talk. He'd share stories I never knew about, crazy shit that went on in the Big O skate park, and the owners and teams and drugs and all sorts of crazy shit. And then and I would educate him on who this person is and what happened there, and we just became really close by that. But I'm happy that I got to step in the middle of those generations and see.
Potato Head was a good guy.
He was a really good guy. Good to a lot of people.
He was always good. But anyway, and then, of course, I was bringing this in because...
Youngsters. And they're not even young.
They're not young anymore.
No, but they're so rad. Like Day One song, probably one of the most talented.
How old is he, 47 now?
I don't think he's that old. He's 40, in the low 40s.
Low 40s?
And Tori's 32, 33, something like that.
Yeah.
But here's a different era. This is how skateboarding changes. And 1 million followers on Instagram and 1 million, it's like just a different world.
Balance.
Yeah.
Crazy balance.
I never met Tori.
Super nice kid.
Day One.
I call him a kid. And I love him. But he treats me with ultimate respect. I mean, I do a lot of work. I do his Grizzly stickers. I do the thank you stickers. We hang out. I mean, I'm actually hoping someday Tori and I do something together. I mean, he's someone I'd like to do business with. I'd like to be a partner in something with him. I like his style.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then Day One, of course, is...
And Day One's just... Day
What do you say about that?
He's a sweetheart. Ultimately, he has no need to pay so much respect to any of us.
Yeah, of course.
God, he does.
Yeah.
He teaches...
Yeah.
He's
like, always been so polite when I see him and stuff. And it's
he has
very humble.
Very big respect for the roots of skateboarding and what it brought to him.
Hell, that guy's so damn good.
I don't know either.
He's so good, man.
I don't even know if he's a skateboarder. I actually think he's a magician. Yeah. We're not really watching Skateboarder.
I think do something. And you go, how the hell did you do
I think there's some Houdini stuff going on there, and he's just like.
Which leads me to believe the next one. Who was an enemy of yours, Jim, over the years? I can think of one, but
well, actually, my first skateboard enemy was Dwayne Peters.
Okay,
because Dwayne, to me, was an upper middle class tract home kid who wanted to pretend he was a trailer park kid and act like he was all core and punk when he was like, dude, you're a punk poser to me. Yeah. Sorry, I'm calling him out that, but he became what he aspired to be. Yeah. That's not what he was, and I watched it transpire. Yeah. And then the attitude that came with it. Like, I'm at the skate park, I own this place. It's like, no, you're in my way. Get out of my way, because you can snake me 5 times, but the 6th time I'm going to hit you in the head. And nobody else would, and that was killed me. I never got that. That's one thing. I grew up in this just kind of just normal everyday thing, but we're stubborn. My brother was stubborn. My brother, same thing. Nice guy, but if he watches you disrespect someone, he's going to step in and beat your ass. And I do not like disrespectful people. And Dwayne was being disrespectful constantly at the skate park, and I couldn't stand it. So I would get in his face and wouldn't hesitate to push him or challenge him, and he'd run away. Like you mentioned, seeing some stuff in your life that
I did. I saw.
And we get along fine now. I think, part of it because he paid a heavier price, because while I was the guy who wouldn't try something 50 times, he would. Yeah. Or he would slam 50 times on his head and keep getting up. To me, it didn't mean that much to me. I want to have fun. I'm here for fun. He was there to prove everything, and he did. And and as years have gone on, and he comes out and someone sees me skate, and he can't really hop on the ramp I'm riding like that because he could barely walk. It's like, it's not a put down. He paid the price. He
definitely paid the price.
Laid his ass on the line, but he realizes that I skate because I think they used to think that I was just this kid who skated because whatever, it was trendy like that. And then I was always considered the business guy, and he's not really a real skater. He's like a business guy. Well, no, I just thought the business part was pretty easy, and I skate because I think it's fun, and but all those misassumptions that you have to fight to get past, and now it's like, okay, I'm 60, I'm still skating, and you're not, but.
Not every day.
I still only do it for fun. I still only do it for fun. I'm still not doing it because I think I'm amazing.
Okay. You mentioned you didn't go on any major tours or anything.
Well, I mean, I did a few, but not but I wasn't one of those touring guys who's in a van traveling the country back and forth. I mean, I went to the Virginia Beach contest. I think we took 10 days after that and drove up.
Cedar Crest?
We went to Cedar Crest and up through the ramps. The same trip. Yeah, same trip. Yeah. Okay. Virginia Beach, we drove up. That's the only time I've been there. See, a lot of guys have probably been there 10 times. All right.
Was that the same trip where you also went to Alabama?
No, that was a gotcha trip.
That was a gotcha trip.
That was the one you were showing me that picture. That was Alabama. That was a ramp in Alabama. Lester, we met some kids at the demo. Hey, want to come ride our vert ramp?
Was that not the funnest?
Absolutely.
I remember those things.
Yeah. Those are some of the best things that you met local kids. They took you to their backyard ramp.
That's right.
I mean, I've slept under pianos in mansions because our house is more comfortable than the hotel you're staying in. You want to sleep in our mansion? Okay.
Did you ever go skate up in Wisconsin?
The turf?
The turf, yeah.
I think twice.
Did you ever
think twice? But
I stayed with the owner there.
Oh, okay. Jerry?
Yeah.
He was a nice guy. I like Jerry. But I rode the turf twice, and I still have my stuff. I was one of the guys in the 80s who had a video camera.
Oh, okay.
So I have footage that I shot because I just brought my video camera, and I always handed stuff.
Shit, that's right, man.
So I have some good.
I remember you going off on some guy at the turf on Facebook about, I don't know, 6 months ago.
I think somebody talked some shit about something like, what the fuck are you talking about? People come up with some crazy stuff.
I remember that. I was just reading it. I was laughing.
Wasn't it something saying you've never been to the turf or something like that?
I was there every day.
Yeah, I was there twice. There. Maybe you were, but
here, let me send you my footage.
Exactly. Pretty funny.
But you're right. Okay. Yeah, I think the guy said he worked there.
So when you talked about the Alabama ramp, that was Andy Birdwell. You know Andy Birdwell? I remember he's a local. He lives in San Diego now. Yeah. He was one of the kids there, and he told me oh yeah, man, we don't have any footage. I go, I have like an hour of footage at your ramp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I brought my video camera, me and Lester. So I literally digitized the whole thing and uploaded it to those guys. It was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And they were so stoked. That's the only ramp footage we have of our ramp. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I have a lot of video that I literally have never archived. I have like 300 videotapes that
All right.
I just don't have enough hours in the day.
No, it's just like you know, I mean, I didn't get to go on a whole lot of trips or anything myself.
Yeah,
but,
I did a lot of short ones with Lester.
Yeah.
The demos to the parking lots and literally.
Was that when he was on
out.
Sims, or was that Gotcha Sims? Or?
That was How Sick is I, Lester.
Yeah.
How Sick is I, Tracker, Lester.
Shoot, so that was
and we did like the
Sims.
Tracker wheel program. We did a Lester marble wheel that was done through that. So we were all kind of intertwined. And
gotcha.
friends. And then Gotcha for both of us. We,
See, I had no idea you were partners with Larry at any point in time. So, yeah, that makes it pretty big right there. Okay. All right. So, let's see. We have 27. Is that what that is?
It is.
All right.
So that's the Alabama ramp. That's called the Brickyard ramp. It was built in the foundation of a house. They built like a basement, and it never got finished. So they built a vert ramp inside the foundation.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Me and Lester skated that.
All right. Well, then
That
let's
explains the wall.
Okay. Then
It was really cool.
I got screwed up. So, what's the next one?
The next one is this one.
Oh, wow.
What's
That's
this,
the
then?
raddest trick
Is that
ever
Virginia
done.
That is, right?
It is. That's Virginia Beach.
Okay.
I'm proud to say that I did a pretty damn good Andrecht hand plant
There it is,
created
man.
by Mr.
right.
Dave Andrecht. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we
Put on
sit
your
with
radio
the
voice,
legend,
please, right?
Dave Andrecht, a.k.a. the Raver.
You know, there's
So-
only like 3 people that call me that.
I know. I think it's funny. Well, you know,
In 5 countries.
in 5 countries, I love that.
Countries.
See?
Yeah, exactly.
I like those people who can go across 2 countries. at
Oh,
once.
this next one. This is going to be your favorite.
Oh, it is gonna be fair. Oh, there we go.
Uh,
Well, honestly, I think I posted like someone sent it me because it's just a fun picture. I never did 1 foot like inverts on purpose or whatever. So chances are that's just a bail.
oh, shit, man.
But at the same
come out and
point,
tell me
I've
that.
landed all sorts of crazy shit that I wasn't willing to give up in my life. So there's a chance that I threw my
Okay.
foot back on as I landed. But that's
I'm
like,
going to say we made
Is this
that.
one number 2 of the 3 that
Yeah.
I'm not going to fall off of?
kind of just, well, we never want to fall off. So there's a chance that it'll land up under your feet. I'll try it.
I'm
But
still rapping.
yeah, it is.
Man,
It's
it's super sick. I love that photo. I was like, oh, I got to
See,
get that.
as much as people think I'm a credit taker, a liar, a bullshitter, like I can't honestly say I know I made that. You know,
Oh, man.
the 1-footed mute, the big high one,
Yeah.
that definitely did those all
Yeah.
day long, and that
Yeah.
felt beautiful. So
All right. Well, I'm going to go with you.
I am a
on
foot dangler. I've always had
Yeah.
a problem with dangling feet. My back foot likes to float when I'm in the air.
that. All right. And now the next one.
Ah, there. we go.
Okay. There it is right there. What's that, Master Division? Oh, wait. Oh, wow. Look at that underneath you, man.
Steve Schneer, I love that guy.
Wow.
I miss that man.
And then Alba, Duncan, Peters, Don Fisher, man. Good for
Jake
Fish.
Phelps. See, I didn't even remember. I didn't remember
Jake.
Jake Phelps rode a skateboard other than to show up for a Thrasher shoot, but I guess he did.
Pro Division. Okay. I thought Jinx might be in there.
No, so this is like ironic.
That was a
The other
different
night,
one?
Jinx and I worked together,
Uh-huh.
and I was really proud because Jinx won the first ever Masters Street contest.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and I won the first ever Masters pool
Oh, that's
contest,
rad.
vert contest, and I thought that was kind of cool that we worked together and we you know,
So the other one, too, I see Tom Knox's name is on there at the bottom.
yeah.
That's pretty insane.
He rode the vert
was a
ramp.
Street,
Yeah,
he was a street
rat.
wizard.
He was a street wizard.
He was
Gnarly.
a street
and you know now, I don't know if you
wizard,
know, he's like super duper like black belt
And
jiu-jitsu guy or something like that.
man.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I fully follow him.
Oh, okay, yeah, no,
Yeah,
Tom.
man,
I think
he
he's
is-
just a nice human. So I,
He just hooked me up with in fact, I forgot to put it up, but I have his board from back in the day. He sent me one of his original
Oh, how
boards.
cool.
And it's in my car. I got to get it out.
so that's one of the 2 contests I've ever won. So that was the
Yeah,
first.
man. That's impressive, man. That is really awesome, especially with the names that are on there. I just blown away. You even beat Schneer. Schneer in the one contest we skated against, he beat me.
He was
That's this contest.
It was Visalia YMCA.
Oh, no way. That's a Bobby G's
It was
camp?
a vert. I don't know if it was the vert. I mean, again, I met Bobby G years after that. You know.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
It was at the Visalia YMCA is all I remember. It was an NSA contest. The Dog Bostics ran it. You know.
Wow, man. That's impressive. All right. So let me ask our next question.
Okay.
All right. Where's skateboarding going? What's the next? What do you see? What do you hear? You know, like you got a lot of people coming through all the time and talking, and
You know, the skateboard right now, the best part about skateboarding is you can do anything you want on a skateboard and it's acceptable.
Absolutely.
To at least enough people to where you don't feel like you're a freak or a geek. I mean, you know, there's still going to be, like I said, there's guys that tease each other, that do the same thing as they am because they put their toe in the wrong place. I mean, we get that. But as far as the overall, it's okay to ride street, it's okay to ride pools, it's okay to ride banks, it's okay to freestyle.
Skateboarding,
you know,
man.
It's skateboarding.
Skateboarding.
You know, racing, slalom racing, downhill, ditch, step. I mean,
are you going to start high jumping over cars again?
I would high jump over a car tomorrow if you set up the right car. That'd be fun.
Let's do it.
The old-fashioned one, you know, where you on one side and land on the other side. You get a lot more to land on. I'll jump over a car still.
Can we get a 77 Triumph?
A Triumph I'd go for. Yeah, I wouldn't go for, you know, anything taller. Yeah, no SUVs. We're in the SUV. I can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with where the world's gone. No SUV jumping. Maybe over a launch ramp, but then that would be kind of scary to land. But I'd go for a Triumph, I think.
We should set that up.
That would be pretty rad.
Dude, I don't want to watch my friend.
I know you don't want to watch me.
You don't wear the preformer outfit for doing that.
The whole thing is it comes down to this, okay? We got Jim sitting here, and up here, he's still thinking, yeah, I'm 29, I'm 25, I can do it. He'd be going down the hill and looking at his body would say, fuck, no. And then you just watch him crash into the car.
I'm so not sure. I actually still think I could jump over a car.
So would you get in one of those racer cars that went down Signal Hill in the 70s? Would you get in one of those?
Hell no. Are you kidding? No, I'm a personal control freak. Like I want to, like seriously, the only thing that scares me in skateboarding is downhill.
Yeah.
Because you start going so fast, you can't jump off. Right? You're no longer in control. If you jump off, you're going to tumble, you're going to spin like that. My brain tells me, don't be that dumb. Because you know you're going to fall off sometime. Don't ever want to be in that spot. Like I can drop in a pool and go a zillion miles an hour. And if I screw up, I can usually just fly out, kick my board out. I mean, even pipes, a lot of people don't realize pipes are dangerous when you start going high. Because if you go like up, it pushes harder against your feet. So one of my best photos I have blown up in my shop is me on the ceiling at Baldy because I'm about to die because I couldn't get my feet off. And Klaus got a photo of me doing it. It's because you lose your balance, and then once you get oververt, it pushes the board harder on your feet. So trying to get your feet off becomes more impossible. Okay, so that and then downhill skateboarding is like downhill. You're just toast. So any ramp or anything you screw up, you kick your board out, and you have your body to flail around. You got nothing when you're going downhill. You're like, oh, I'm screwed. I'm 70 and I'm jumping right now. Like I'm just not that. I'm not wired that way. You know, I like to be in this somewhat of control. So yeah, but going back to our whole question about where is skateboarding, I think skateboarding is the Olympics did exactly what I thought it would do for skateboarding. Nothing. I mean, it really didn't. It just brought an awareness around the world. But
Japan is number one.
I'm not trying to put it down. Well, now the best skaters in the world are going to start training people. Yeah, that we're probably going to see a little more of that's already been taken out of the natural thing why we skateboarded, feel, flow, whatever that is, to become more like a snowboard half pipe. How many spins can you do? How many amazing technical things, less than how fun you could do. But I mean, it's not affecting day-to-day skateboarding, I don't think. The kids are still going every day in the street, skate park, whatever that. They could care less if the Olympics is coming up in a year or 2 years. They're not going to spend their whole life training for the Olympics. But there's going to be a group of people that do. Yeah. To have a new little path, and that's fine. But I mean, some people were so like the industry, it's going to change skateboarding. No, it's not.
Look at Andy Mack. Andy Mack is training right now, like virtually every day, and he's going to skate for England.
Is he? That's rad. I like you.
Yeah, I know, man. I hope he wins it.
That would be awesome. And he can do it. He's a great skateboarder.
I know, man. It's he's like Omar. Like those guys just never stop, and they just kill it. Omar was one of my favorite guys back in the day, man.
I got Omar stories we won't tell on here because
Omar
deserves a good bitch slap from me but we'll keep that. Well, he goes, you're going to the 9 Club a couple times, just says stupid stuff. I go, dude, you should not say that because you would not want me to go online and say some stuff I could say. So, well,
maybe we'll try it on your thing. I'll bring up Omar.
No. I'm just going to leave it alone because I'm trying to be a kind.
Did you just say 9 Club?
9 Club, yeah.
Oh my God.
People ask me all the time, how come you're not on the 9 Club? I'm like, I print their stickers. That's good. I'm on the 9 Club. I don't know why I'm not on the 9 Club. I'm not cool enough. See, that's the thing is I'm not. I know where I fit in skateboarding.
I'm not on 9 Club either. I was never cool enough either. So
you invented a trick that people did.
Well,
I invented 2 tricks that nobody did.
Yeah, but if you ask Tony Mag, like, my trick is done by every female. He likes to sit there and say, every female that doesn't hand.
That's okay.
Hey, you know what I came back with?
All the top female skaters skate a lot better than I do now. So
absolutely.
there's no put down of female skateboarding.
No, I'm not.
Absolutely. No, I actually believe female skateboarders are going to make more than men at some time because there's so much more advertising money for females.
Absolutely.
In life, especially as far as fashion, style. So there's so many avenues they can be tapping once that gets figured out. Yeah. I think you'll get
a whole crop of 12 to 14-year-old girls that are coming up at the same time.
Yeah.
No, I do. I mean, mark my words. 10 years from now, there's going to be some girls that make more money than any male ever did.
Tony Hawk.
Because the only avenues we have, or have had up to this point, other than Tony, which was very much a fluke thing with a video game, right? Yeah. Other than that, it was footwear and clothing or your board sponsor. Okay. Well, female clothing outsells male clothing a lot. Footwear outsells male a lot. It's not tapped into skateboarding per se. Yeah. And board sponsors are no longer anywhere near where your money comes from. Right. So that no longer is an issue. So there's a point when there's going to be a woman who's going to be sponsored by some real mainstream clothing company, cosmetics, sunglasses, and a number of things, and she's gonna outperform
cereal boxes,
exactly, and all sorts of health
foods. They'll be driving little cool cars for chicks.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no doubt about it. Well, there's just more. There is more opportunity. Yeah. It's just that obviously it's catching up, but slow. Yeah, yeah. But women's skateboarding has definitely outpaced men's in the last decade as far as the progression amongst women participants, so on and so forth. So, it's. I'm proud to watch it. I used to skate big on skate park with Cara Beth, one of the only girls out there, And
I know she kept a lot. She took a lot of heat.
She did.
I used to get bummed about that, because guys were just dicks then. They said,
guys are still dicks.
I know.
Times change.
But I don't know. Back then, I just saw it and heard it, and I was just like, "You guys are idiots." But anyway, what else? What about pads, man? You do a lot of skating without pads, Jim.
I've been wearing my I've been wearing my helmet lately.
That's
probably
good.
more so out of respect for girlfriends who've said, how come everyone else is wearing a helmet and you're not? And I'm like, you're right. I'm not going to lie, because I would never say I didn't wear a helmet and was acting like I couldn't hurt myself.
All right, we're going to look.
I'm wearing a helmet.
You're wearing a helmet here.
Yeah, I am.
I got 6 more photos like this,
but I don't have.
See if we're wearing helmets in all of them.
Well, there was just, and there was.
There we go, right there.
And again, I'm saying my honest things. I just felt, first thing, without knee pads and elbow pads, I feel more comfortable. There's more motion. I don't dive and knee slide anymore because, tell you the truth, I'm worried I'm going to hurt my knees if I knee slide. Mm-hmm. I'd rather tumble out of it. So, and I usually skate. My skating is very simplified compared to the old days, as far as I'm not blasting air, doing inverse like that. I'm carving and I'm grinding. Yeah. I'm usually going so fast at an angle. If I screw up, I just keep sliding. Yeah. I just tumble, I die. So that's the knee aspect of it. So if I'm going to ollie something or a hip or something like that floating, it feels so much nicer not to have the straps on my legs. That's just my thing. I get it if I was riding vert ramp or like that. I'm not going to skate padless. I'm not going to say I don't do that as well sometimes, but that's just a car, a grind. If I wanted to skate seriously, I'd put pads on. The helmet was just probably time got lazy. Didn't feel like wearing it. I don't really necessarily like sweating. Don't like the heat. I just prefer the air and all that. But I just realized the older I get, the likelihood of me slamming and hitting my head when I'm even doing nothing to screw up, it's there. It's always been there. Now I just realize I really don't need to do that to my kids or girlfriend or whatever. I don't want anyone spoon feeding me if they don't have to. And so just taking life a little more seriously. Where are you always going to see me with a helmet? No, there's time. I skated Conway's Bowl like the beginning. I didn't ride a helmet. I didn't feel like I wanted to wear a helmet. Is there a chance I could hit my head? Yes. I feel probably definitely in a greater chance at Angelo's pool than there, but it's a calculated risk. Yeah. It's not in anybody's face, and nothing meant by it.
What's the next one? Oh, there's another one. Yeah,
love that. See, my arms are getting a little better. Better. It's a little more surfy, a little more.
That's the finger point going on.
But see, that with no pads, that doesn't even faze me in the least.
Yeah,
because that feels comfortable to me,
right?
And I don't feel
only 3 feet high, right?
6 maybe. I'm saying. I mean, the bowl's 8 maybe, and that hip might be 7 into 6. It's not huge, and it's also mellow. It's not like I'm coming. It's not like it's got 3 feet of vert on it.
Right. Still looks cool.
It's a great photo, man, and it's Malibu. So
the wind is beautiful. It's gorgeous.
I was never cool enough to get invited to that one, so you got me there.
You can come with me, Dave.
I see Bowman skating there all the time.
What's that?
I see Bowman skating there all the time.
Bowman, when he comes out skates, and he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm pretty proud of that photo because it's recent. That's like 6 months ago or a year ago, 9 months.
Is there a helmet on that photo? I can't tell.
There is.
There is. Yes, that was in my. I think the year before I probably didn't wear a helmet.
Where is that? That's somewhere else.
Newark, Ohio.
In Ohio. Okay.
It's a couple hours outside of Cleveland. It's a new park they built that my friend Sam, who's the bald-headed guy there, is taking the picture. Goes TriStar Skate Shop. Wait.
TriStar. Oh,
TriStar Skate Shop. TriStar Skate Shop.
Oh my
friend.
202.
TriStar. So see Sam wearing his TriStar shirt, same one I'm wearing. Filming me right there. He lives in Kent, Ohio, and has a pool in his backyard, an empty pool. We skate, and he owns TriStar Skate Shop now.
Okay.
He's coming here like next month. He's one of those many friends I've gotten to know. He's a great guy.
TriStar. Okay.
But when it happens, I try to go to this thing where they do this called the Welfare Line Skateboard Collectors, and they've invited me. Skate Master Tate's the one who got me involved in it like 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
And I've gone every year on Labor Day, and Sam bought the shop, kind of halfway in between there, and now I go and I'll stay in a couple extra days. And him and I will just take a trip. We got to Pittsburgh, got to Dublin, Ohio.
So it's like a skate collectors show.
It is. It's a group called WLSC, the Welfare Line Skateboard Collectors. They're the bunch of guys who collect skateboards and really like a family. They like paint boards with each other's faces on them. They do art and sell them amongst themselves. They're like a bunch of, and what they do is they do a lot of these. They do like auctions, and they'll put like 10% of it aside for this bash every year, and they'll save money up. Then they'll buy me a plane ticket to fly out there, and
what's the name of this thing?
It's called the Welfare Line Skateboard Collectors.
Welfare?
Yeah, Welfare Line, WLSC.
Yeah.
It's happened for, I think.
That's every Labor Day?
That Labor Day? Which one comes first? Memorial Day is first, or Labor Day? Yes.
Yeah, Labor Day.
It's been in Cleveland, so I've gone there, and we have a great time. The last couple of years, I've stayed for a couple extra days. I mean, we've gone to like we've gone to concerts to get concerts together afterwards. We went to saw like Social Distortion, saw Hensley and Matt Flogging Molly. And that's when you test your friendships. Like I'm sitting in the stands, like posted something on Instagram. I'm sitting here waiting to see Matt Hensley. The next thing I know, Matt Hensley's looking for you. So you go, hey, social media works. But the Ohio trip's always really fun, and Cleveland, Ohio is a pretty cool town. I had never been there.
I will agree with that.
Yeah, it's
I had a good time.
Rivers, bridges, restaurants, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Waterfront. And that's Sam from TriStar in the Cleveland area, and he takes me on these trips, and we skate some cool stuff.
Okay, well, we kind of touched on the Olympics.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Where do you think we're going to stand in the next one?
How do you think? What do you mean? We mean America?
Team USA.
And it's weird when you say that, because I barely consider myself an American when it comes to skateboarding. I've been skateboarding my whole life. Skateboarding is the world. It's hard for me. Klaus Grabke's from Germany. He's one of my best friends. Like I don't consider him my competitor. He's just another skateboarder that I.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to put it into a new realm where it's country versus country.
Yeah.
I think the U.S. is always going to have some of the top skateboarders, especially in the organic sense of just really growing, living the passion. We have so much to skate here. There is definitely parts of the world you can tell, Japan, China, like that. They're grooming some kids, and I think there's more incentives as there would be in those countries. Just like, I couldn't keep my skateboard factory alive here because no one was subsidizing me, and I just got to die. In China, they subsidize you, so you can, it's just the way.
Oh, there's a lot of factories over there that have closed.
I know they have, but I'm saying, I'm bitching, okay? Let me whine. I'm crying, boo-hoo, woe is me.
I lost 13 years of my life.
Yeah, I used to employ 100 people. Now now I eat Pop-Tarts for breakfast. I'm sorry. Which I don't.
All right, let's go to the next photo because we're getting down now.
For breakfast.
We're getting down now. The next photo is
right there.
Is your favorite one?
This is pretty. The most beautiful thing about this photo is that Otis Bartholomew helped me dye these wheels. That's the most beautiful part of it.
Oh, he helped dye them?
Helped me dye. They're dyed with grit dye. Those were actually about 30 or 40 sets of leftover Powerflex wheels that didn't have enough like UV. Here in them, and they were yellowing.
Yes.
Right. So I literally was selling them for $10 a set because they were great wheels, but they were discolored. And one day, who would come by once a month or a couple months, whatever, passing through, we're just chatting. So he goes, man, because he was doing all sorts of fun art projects, like he'd make skateboards, put art on them and sell them. He goes, let's make a fun color and make it a special edition, and we'll do the like at 5 o'clock on this day. We'll sell them for $75 a piece, and we did. We sold those sets for like $75 a piece with a sticker. It was an O sticker, 10-foot boneless / Powerflex. We just had fun with it. But yeah, that day O came and we boiled Rit dye and dyed those wheels, and that's just. And I love taking photography, taking photographs, you know, and that just. I took it for the color, and that was.
Well, I just want to do it because it's something else that you're still currently doing. Then
I am.
And what do you do with that?
Well, I'm one of the owners, and have been. You know, they approached me to help get involved in it and just made me an offer to, you know, we'll give you this percentage. I said, okay, it works, and we started with the PowerFlex 5, which was just I really kind of trying to redo the original with the raised letters and all that, and they've gone over really well, and then. We got into the street and park wheels, which we invested in cores to make them spin really well, and we have different hardnesses of cores and stuff like that. I mean, to me, I didn't want to pad print a wheel. I personally just felt like if I just pad print a wheel, I'm just another dude putting a name on a wheel. No, I had to put something into it that was different, make it permanent, and so all the PowerFlex wheels were engraved cores and you know, just things like that. And just but then we started focusing more on the street and park wheels. And then we've been out of PowerFlex 5s for quite a while. We need to make more because I get yelled at by people all the time for not having.
All right, so you're also doing the sales for all these things too?
Yeah, and that's one of the problems. The hard thing is it's a tough thing to dance everything. You know, it's like we mostly sold them. I'll sell most of it through distributors. Reggie Barnes is our largest distributor.
Okay.
Reggie now owns 4 different distribution outlets, so it's like it's nice. We're in an ultimate skate supply, South Shore, so on and so forth. But again, it's fun and a challenge. We just make great wheels. I know that. People who ride our wheels would love them.
I'm going to have to get a set when I come up.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe 2. I'll give them my daughter. That's who I skate with all the time.
Cool. I love that.
So, anyway.
We'll have to go skating if you come up, too. I'd like to skate with you and your daughter.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Well, I don't know if my daughter will be able to make it. She's generally working most of the time. Otherwise, every Friday morning. Billy Ruff has a thing down at the pump track, too.
Oh, really? No,
so we always go down there.
I do love the pump track.
That's fun. I went down there like 2 weeks ago with Slovatsky.
I went down there with There's no tricks involved. You go fast. That's all me right there. That's what I live for.
Yeah, I was surprised, man. I did like 20 laps and my legs still felt pretty okay.
Oh, yeah, but it'll wear you out.
It wears you out. Yeah. No, especially when you go fast. If you go slow, it's no big deal. But if you go fast, you can definitely do it.
I fall off my skateboard if I go slow. So,
so what do you think? Do you think skaters are ever going to start wearing like company logos and stuff again? I mean, is that just not?
They do. Anymore? They do. It is.
I never see anything.
Yeah, man. I mean, a sponsored skateboarder is just it's a different animal than it was in 1978, 1980 when I rode for GNS. Yeah, I mean, I knew that if I showed up somewhere wearing a Santa Cruz shirt, my direct competitor.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
GNS would have been bummed.
Oh, of course.
And they would have been bummed. They would have just said, you know, we like you, but please leave.
Have a nice day. Yeah.
You know. And that really happened in the 80s into the 90s street culture crossover. Yeah. And I can give you a good example. Chris Carter, who I have the ultimate respect for, ran Alien Workshop. Yeah. They were definitely right in the middle of that crossover. The street to, you know, whatever. The our generation to the purely street, you know, video generation. Yeah. And I would like if I went to GNS, okay, and if Larry Gordon was on a phone call and I was a pro skater and I walked in, Larry Gordon's going to come out when he's done on his phone call. Yeah. You know what I mean? He might respectfully say, hey, I got some of the team runners. I'm going to go say hi to him. I'll give you a call back or like that. But I literally was on the phone with Chris Carter once and we were great friends. And he's like, all right, I got to go. Like, whoa, middle of a conversation kind of thing. And later I go, what happened? Well, Mark Appleyard came by. You know what I mean? Like, like, you dropped everything, but that's what it became. It became like literally like, oh my God, we have to kiss the pros' asses, or we're nothing. And I'm not saying he was as deep, and he wasn't as deep, and that's a lot of people. But that was the culture that had become. Yeah. And I can even go back to T-Mag once at an NSA meeting when the crossover, when this whole battle between the skater companies taking over, and it was brought up something about the team guys being wild at contests or being disrespectful, and they need to be like basically put in their place, and there needs to be some rules. And Tony's like, well, they might quit. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, well, then fuck, then tell them that, you know, then they shouldn't be there. You know what I mean? It's like, there has to be some basic rules, you know. But yeah, it was like he was basically saying, like, I'm not going to control my team guys because they might quit. And that was the change. It was a change where it no longer was, you didn't ride for a company, you respected the company. It's like, no, we are the company. If we quit, you guys are out of business. That's one reason why I started Acme. I didn't make pro models. I still got top pros. And I wanted to, but I'm not going to, no skater's going to quit and never put me out of business. And they didn't. I had guys that rode for me that quit. Didn't affect my sales at all. New guys came in, didn't really affect my sales. I just kept it about keeping a balance so I could have an image and sell good product and make it about the product and always have good skaters. So I always want to support skateboarders. Some people try to make like Jim wants to rip off pro skateboarders. No, I pay them. You know what I mean? But like I don't want to. First, I don't want to embarrass my name by putting my name on products with guys' names on them who really are amateurs, and you want to call them pros. That's embarrassing to me. That's embarrassing to skateboarding. The culture, everything else like that. You can call it what you want. Now it doesn't matter. It's gone so far. Pro model doesn't mean a thing ananymore. That's true. My pro truck maybe a little bit more, and even those you weed through those and go like, really? Like they made a truck for that guy? What the fuck? There is some crazy stuff. Some
desperation move.
But but because it's all subjective, it's all made up. It's not. It's no longer definable. So the whole logo thing was about defining that you're there for that brand. They're giving you products. That goes to the whole idea of sponsorship. Why are you sponsored? You're there to help the people who give you those free products and pay you, whatever. You're there to help them sell product. It's the reason Carl's Jr. doesn't give me free hamburgers just because I eat them good. If I don't bring a line to their store, they're not giving me I'm a good hamburger eater. I should be sponsored. That became the skateboarding way of thinking. Every kid at the skate park thinks he should be sponsored because he's good. Like, no, you need to be good, not a dick, preferably. Have a good attitude, and you need people to be like, fascinated enough by you, they want to take pictures of you, put you in ads, they want to promote you. That helps them sell products. It's the only reason they give you free stuff. They don't give it to you free because you're good.
And the perfect example is that Eddie Anderson. He's a great spokesperson.
He is, but he respects it. He understands it. And there's something there's an inherent thing about him and how he gets that. But as far as the typical skateboarder come the late 80s into the 90s, it became more like, oh, no. You company guys, you're nothing without us. And it also makes sense because Vision, Santa Cruz, Powell, they all made skateboards. And in that era, they were manufacturers. Okay, World Industries Foundation, none of them made a skateboard. They just put their name on a skateboard. So their whole image, their whole everything was only tied to those skaters making their brands good. Guys that manufactured their stuff actually had the ability to deliver, had distribution all over the world, had manufacturing capacity. They had a whole different game, and their skaters were advertising tools. So they were more like what General Motors and Ford and those things were. They made products, they sold them. Skateboarding became we put logos on products that someone else makes, and that wasn't the minority, that became the majority. And then along with it, like the team is everything. The team quits, we're out of business.
All right, where's 36?
36. Photo 36.
Yeah. So what are you up to now?
I print stickers. We started printing stickers.
Great conversation.
We started printing stickers. We called ourselves the Ink Dispensary as part of Acme.
Okay.
And we dispensed ink, right? We bought a machine to print Acme stickers in like 92 or 93. And then quickly we realized that machine could print more stickers than Acme ever needed. Right. And Volcom happened to have started in the same parking lot as Acme building was, in the guy's little office, and said, hey, we make us some stickers? And we're like, okay, yeah, sounds fun. So we made Volcom some stickers. And then for a long time, we just printed our stickers, and we printed some Volcom stickers. And then we eventually opened the wood shop like 95. Like I said, it might have been 92, 93. We started printing stickers. Then that became just a corner of the wood shop. We printed stickers. And Volcom grew really big. Yeah. So their little $500 sticker orders became $5,000 and $10,000, $15,000 orders. So I will give them and Chris Carter from a credit standpoint for having my back. Right. Volcom literally bought enough stickers in the last couple of years. My skateboard factory's life. It helped pay their $10,000 a month rent at my skateboard factory when skateboard sales were no longer paying it. Right. But from that, when we ended up having to close the skateboard factory, I created Inkgenda, which is the next
Genda,
which basically rolled right out of ABC. I made Tom a partner in it, who was the guy who ran my machines and did some of the art separation, all that. And so he's a partner in Inkgenda, and we started printing stickers for more people. I started shaking more hands and kissing more babies and reminding more people I printed stickers. So I didn't really try really hard. At the time, I printed mostly Volcom and Acme stuff. If people came to us, I'd print stickers, but we were never really looking for people. And then when the skateboard factory closed, it became a freestanding business. So for 14 years now, we've been just printing stickers.
All right. So Who do you see as future? Who's killing it right now? Skater-wise. Who would you put your money on? Overall.
That's not, I can't even answer.
Favorite skater?
I really can't answer. Favorite skater? Like I said, probably Andy Anderson is one of my favorite skater. Because he entertains and he backs it up.
Okay.
I can almost go anywhere on any given day, just be stoked at who's going to be there. There's just so many kids, known and unknown. They're having fun on skateboards. I think the skateboard world's going to have to sort itself out. What's that going to be? Is it going to be competitive? Is it going to be all video-based? Can't be video-based anymore for too much longer because too many guys are too similar. So you no longer can put out a video that so far blows away the last one. We've gone through that era, right? I mean, we think we have. There's always going to be someone who's going to do something that's going to blow your mind. I don't think it's going to be able to jump levels like it's been able to jump. You know what I mean? Because it's going to keep progressing. There's no doubt about it. There's still stuff that we're going to think was no way. How'd they ever do that? So I mean, so on that level, I don't even follow it like I used to. I just am so happy that my main role as a skateboarder is just a skateboarder. I don't really care at all.
Having fun.
I don't care who's doing what in the industry. That's why, there's no put down like the 9 Club where everybody talk about that. I don't care about someone's video part. And even in the history from my part where we know why we were pro skateboarders. We earned it, right? We fought for it. We had to compete. We had to compete against other guys and show who could stand on top of the mountain during the whole thing. We came to a place where we no longer did that. It's created by editing. Most of the skaters in those parts are good, but some guys are twice as good as the other guys. They're the ones who should have been the top pros, but they're not necessarily top pros because this guy was cooler, had more connections, worked harder, was willing to fall 1,000 times to get that one thing on video.
They don't have the competitions that we have.
Well, they don't have the competition. Well, that is the bottom line. It became created rather than competed for. So we don't know where skateboarding is going because I think the created part is losing its steam. Because of social media, everyone's a creator now. I mean, we have pro skaters. We have kids that have made fortunes. I mean, I saw a kid the other day. Backyard mini ramp, the house in LA, $1 million house. It was a pro skateboarder, like a YouTube pro skateboarder. A pro skateboarder in the sense that we know, not like, but he's famous to the kids who, because let's face it, kids no longer open Skateboarder, Transworld, Thrasher. I mean, very few young kids read Thrasher. That's an old guy magazine. They just happen to, since they own most of the
t-shirt,
since they own most of the brands that are in it, it's a catalog. If that thing can break even and they can get mainstream money like Vans, Volcom, whatever like that, to have enough budget to keep that thing printed and not lose money, the fact that they're selling $100 million worth of sweatshirts is why that thing keeps printing. To pretend that's a magazine, but it's not a magazine. It's really not. And kids aren't reading it. 14-year-old kids don't buy every issue of Thrasher and read them. They go online. And then they have a strong presence online too, as does the Barracks, as does Skate Park of Tampa, as does a bunch of people. But kids are getting their media online. I mean, I grew up with the kids. They're 31, 29, and 25 now. They don't read magazines. They don't subscribe to magazines. They've never bought magazines now. And, that saddens me because I still love still photos, but everything is seen online.
Oh, it's gone generations too. Every generation has changed.
And with the point is, with the online, with the whole foundation of everything coming from online, it allows people that skateboarding used to be able to hide people. Like you could say, God, you went so big, you did so like that. Why did I never feel like that about you or that? Because I wasn't determined by the culture, the magazine, the industry to put you there. Because I may have been better than some people that are known as being better, but it doesn't matter because I wasn't in the ads. I wasn't in the thing for a lot of reasons. I was working rather than I wasn't at the tryout for the Thrashing movie. I was at work underwriting loans. You know what I mean? That was just a different culture. But because back then you had to find your way into media, which was only print, to become anything. Once you social media, I mean, I actually say I'm more popular amongst 80s pro skateboarders today than I was in the 80s because I have a social media presence that's real. It's not because it's not a made up social media presence because I really still skate and I really did make skateboards and sponsor people and make lots of product and do lots of things. And that my social media has lots of content. So it shows that there's just who I really am. Right. But in the 80s, it was only what magazine ads did I have versus another guy who basically didn't have to be better than me, didn't have to be my Acme ads were good. My skateboard ads were. I know I made some of the best ads we ever did, I think, I
still think you did too.
But the bottom line is, like I said, the social media presence now allows people that don't even have to be sponsored. If you know how to build a social media following, you can be famous skateboarders.
Absolutely.
I mean, famous in a different way, not famous in a different way. I mean, the Braille skate people, that's a great example. I love them too. I love them because they're creative, they do their own thing, and they're successful. And the skateboard, a lot of people in the skateboard industry, major players, don't even know they exist or barely know they exist or don't pay any attention to them, write them off like they don't exist.
How can you write off 150,000 views in the first 2 hours?
Well, okay, I guess they're probably aware of it now, but as far as even it took them years to follow them when they were already selling thousands of skateboards and doing all this stuff with all their brands. And I had massive respect for them because I love the real do-it-yourselfers. But a lot of the people that were considered the players, I think I would see them and they were oblivious to it. You know, they were 5 years behind on that. Yeah. So
kind of like a pro skater on the deck watching the 12-year-old Tony Hawk. They're realizing that their career is almost over, yet they don't even realize it.
No, I realized it. You're welcome.
37. 37.
37.
Photo 37.
37. Okay.
Let's go, man. We're falling behind here. We're trying to speed this thing up here.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. So
the only thing I got to say about that is,
okay, say it.
My friend drew that and wrote, "I'm Jim Gray. Who the hell are you?" I didn't write that or script that. I think it's funny, kind of cocky and arrogant, but funny. So I went with it. That was my dog Coco. Passed away a couple of years ago, but he drew Coco for me too, and I thought it was cute. That's my podcast. My podcast is very much similar and different than yours because the only person I ever wrote questions down for was Frankie Hill. I didn't know him that well, so I did a little Googling and wrote like 4 questions down. Everybody else is pretty much people I know. Like when you come up, I guarantee I'm not writing a question down. We're just going to talk.
Good.
You know, we'll look around things around the room. We'll talk about stuff. When we first met, we were like that. You know, I talk a lot about how skateboarding affected people's lives or how they think it benefited their life, whatever like that. I really do it organically. Yeah. So it's never going to be a top-selling podcast. It's like, you know,
neither is mine.
I've made $13.
But I'm trying to make history.
3 years.
I want to make history. That's
well, you are documenting history.
I want to document.
I'm lazy. I'm not willing to put that much work in.
Yeah, well, you've got 50 other things going on too, and a really cute girl, and blah blah blah. You know.
I'm not going to complain.
Okay, well here we go.
Really cute girl. There she is. There's my mom.
There it is.
My other really cute girl.
Yes, and I just wanted to bring her in because she's gone to so many events with you. And she's always got a smile on her face, every event.
Skaters have been amazing to her.
Yeah.
I have photos of her sitting in the chair with 50 guys behind her because they put her in the front and take a photo.
I have that. I had that photo too.
Yeah.
And I'm in it. I'm far right, but I got cut out.
It's great. Yeah.
That was, I don't remember what party that was.
I think there was one at Bill Billings' backyard, the old brew.
No, okay, I was probably there. This one was at like
brewery or something like that.
Yeah, brewery or something. Yeah,
down there in Encinitas.
And it was all like 90% guys. Yeah. And there was a few girls in there, but your mom sat right in the middle.
Oh, my mom was funny. She would like go up to Doug Marker and tell his wife, like,
yeah.
You're lucky I'm not younger.
Yeah.
She's like, I love that. Like, she's like,
I think every woman says
I know, Doug is a good looking man. Doug, if I was gay, I'd kind of be into you.
Fuck,
I'm not.
Man.
You know what?
Come on.
No, that's a compliment. I'm just giving him a compliment. He's a good looking man. And he's a nice man, which is even more important. I think his wife's cute too. I like his wife.
Heather is, and she's amazing.
She really, she's a sweetheart. And she was super kind to my mom too. She would always giggle her brains out when my mom was like flirting with her husband. I thought that was funny.
Just the greatest right there.
I'm not going to argue that.
You know. Anyway, so
look, there's my kids and my mom.
Yeah. So wanted to get that in.
Oh, that was pretty random. That was actually not that long ago, really, because my mom's been living up north for about 3 years now. Yeah. My mom has dementia and you know, and it's getting a little more progressive. And my sister brought her down here about a year ago, and they just happened to pass through, and I got all my kids to come by. So it's a very, very rare occasion anymore.
Yeah, the last thing I remember seeing on your son graduated from college.
He did. He's a teacher. Now he got teaching credentials.
Yeah, got his teaching credentials and stuff. And I see a lot of pictures of like you and your daughter as well.
My family, my middle son is no longer my middle son. My middle son is my daughter. My middle son has transitioned to female, and that was I
didn't know that.
Yeah, no, and again, not on social media much, just because Skylar never really was on social media, and not something I avoid or anything. But Skylar's a sweetheart. Has a significant other, Toby, and they have a good life. But so as a parent, I've experienced the modern world of
the modern world. Yeah,
the modern world. You know?
The newest, the latest, and the greatest. So, okay, let's see. Where am I? That's it. Okay, well then.
Save the best for last.
Look at that.
There we go. Saving the best for last.
Right that's Sweet Beth and Tiago. Tiago is her dog, and I was telling you guys a story a little bit earlier. Her and I went out for a few months, and then kind of stepped back for a couple months, and then ended up by being actual, very natural friends and not being romantic at all. We kind of found our way back to each other, and she's a really sweet lady. She's the most athletic woman I've ever known. Yeah, I think I needed that because I needed someone who could not only keep up with me, but make me struggle to keep up with. She's like, we go on bike rides. It doesn't matter if it's 20 miles or 50 miles. I'm more tired than she is. Yeah. And on the Peloton, whatever, she's a badass. It's like, I'm just like, Jesus. No, we have really good times. She comes from a great family, has 4 daughters, and I have 3 kids. So combined, we're like the Brady Bunch. There's 7 kids, and now there's 3
so you're going to get that house in El Segundo?
El Segundo. Is that where Brady Bunch took place? Yeah. It looks like it was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then Tiago, that sweet little puppy in that picture, is 4.5 years old, and but he's a golden doodle. Yeah, 80 pound. He's a big one, so he's a beast. And and she changed jobs after I met her, and she can't take her dog to work anymore. So she comes with me most every day. He almost came today, but she was going to come home. She goes, let's leave him at home. He said we almost had him laying on the floor the whole time because he goes with me pretty much everywhere else, and he's a sweet dog. So
so far, I'm the only dog that's been allowed in here.
The only dog I was going to call if I was going to come to find out if they would be allowed in here. But no, Beth is a very sweet lady.
We would have snuck him in,
and I'm very fortunate. Like I said, it's very natural, very, very easy, and it just kind of blows me away all the time.
Okay, 2 things. I want you to think about this one. Best trick you ever remember seeing?
Yeah. How do you judge that? I mean,
how many tricks did you get to witness the very first time they were?
Oh, I was riding a mini ramp the first time. Gons did a backside ollie 360 and landed backwards. I mean, that was like, wow. How did you do that? How did you land backwards? You know, like, and you did it all casually.
Did you do that on purpose?
It was like sort of you thought it was an accident. I mean, honestly, like you saw that picture. It was one of the pictures of me doing the corner air at Upland. Clay Kreiner did one at Vans.
Oh my god!
That was like, okay, mine was like maybe 3.5, 4 feet out, you know, and Clay's was like 12 feet out, and 11 feet from this side of the wall, and landing 15 feet from that side of the wall, like skipping the whole corner,
that far under,
and just letting. I mean, it was everything about it was like, so that to me that fuels me like, whoa, because I could really understand the thing, and it actually makes me feel like, God, I wish I was younger, because obviously the fact that I did it on a board with no nose and heavy and odd and awkward, weird land. And I would love to know what it felt like to be young and just spring like that and let loose. Because the reason he's doing it is because he's seen someone do something close to it or up in that. We all were just progressing, pushing a little farther. Like I saw 4 foot air, I was willing to try 5. I wasn't going to try 12, right? I mean, that would, so it was all about progression. So it makes me a little envious of like, God, I want to be 16. I want to know what it feels like not to do a 5 foot alley-oop backside air. I want to feel what 12 feet feels like, because I want that fear to be gone, because I've seen people do it. And so, yeah, it's an awesome thing to be in that pioneer, but it sucks because you want to like, man, you can kind of feel it, you can sense it, you understand it, but you know you physically can't do it anymore. Yeah. That sucks.
Did you see the guys who bought Dwindle? Did you hear about all that?
That bought them?
Bought Dwindle, the investment group? Yeah, like in the last year. And
they got bought from Bravo? No, Bravo is the one who bought them.
No, but another company bought them, right? Yeah, another company came in and bought those guys, just like in the last couple months.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is that why everyone got let go?
That's why everybody got let go.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
And everybody quit.
Because Bravo was an offshoot of Hyper Wheels in the end, and that was I was the first. I was waiting for the machines to get finished when they built those. That's where the whole tracker wheel started.
But there was like 2 guys that got let go, then everybody quit. So anyway, I just didn't know, because I know Bill Weiss is out there, and you know he's got the whole Madness team in his pocket. And
the tough thing is it's not. It's beautiful, and sadly, it's not a value that it used to be, because you're not guaranteed instant sales, even if you have an amazing team. because there's so much more to it anymore.
I think those guys are going to do well.
Well, no, they can. If they put together the right program, get the right backing, get the right sale. They have to have sales, distribution, team,
they have everything,
video. That's good. They got it. But now you need capital. Here's a good example. 1990 when I started Acme, I took $40,000 of my own money and I turned it into $100,000 the first day. Because I literally was all pre-sold, came in, flipped. I think it was $103,000 shipped out of my garage. That helped me start a company because I could take that 100 and grow more and build more. Most people today, you need to put 500 into inventory and it's going to turn slower. So it's a big investment. So, and unfortunately, the more investment money you have to get in, especially if it's outside money, the more risk you start from the beginning that they're going to shut the whole thing down. But if there's enough skaters that can actually back something and actually have the capital to put in there, it's possible. That's why I would love to see a really capitalized, truly skater-owned company. I know that one's going to be coming up soon. Well, I hope so. I love to hear that. I mean, I like Bill. I love the fact that that guys like him have matured and honed their skills and learned new things and learned how to
Bill's just awesome.
He's a fun guy and he's nice. He was a damn good skateboarder, a crazy skateboarder, naked naked 540s, baby.
That's it, man.
Naked 540s, Bill Weiss.
Yeah, I don't even know, man. He did
Red Hot Chili Pepper 540. Here we come.
When I saw it at Brick Skate Park in like 1991.
Is that New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in New Jersey, I just see this guy. I never met Bill before. It was the first time I met him. Get this guy. Everybody's talking about it, and they're all talking, "Hey, goodbye, party!" And I'm just like, the hell, man? There's all these women, kids, everything around, and then Bill strips naked, drops in, breaks the 540. Pops up and puts his clothes back on. Like, okay. I was just like...
Him and Schneer.
You
guys had no problem getting naked.
Yeah. I forgot about Schneer.
Oh, yeah. And again, Schneer's a kid I skated big go I grew up with. Knew him fairly well, not so well. I got close to him within the last few years of when he passed away. It sucked. I'm friends with his sister and his brother to this day. I never met them before he died. Now we're like, we talk all the time, and it's just
that's real.
Skateboarding does bring people together in the funniest of ways.
I've just emailed her a few times. But never. I've seen pictures of her.
Yeah, but she's brought his daughter by to visit me even the last few years.
I never did that.
She's really. They've tried to do their best to keep. And they recently lost their mom. Their mom and dad both passed away in the last few years. And
well, then there was Steve. Hopefully, everything is good there. I got to know Steve back in '87, '88, mostly because he was down at the beach with everybody. We had a pack of wolves, is what I called it. There was like 15 of us pro skaters. And we were all at the beach. He was the wolfiest of wolf, but he also had the goldenest of heart, too. That was absolutely.
There's a lot of contradictions like that in life. A lot of guys, Craig Johnson, a lot of guys through the years were like, they looked like the gnarliest, meanest guys on earth, but they were also the biggest teddy bears.
Oh, man. Yeah. Schneer was the nicest guy in the frickin' world. And he was probably
Mike
the leader of the pack.
Vallely, who would beat up the security guys, is also one of the Mike Vallely, who's also one of the kindest guys on earth. If you know him, he's a very gentle soul, very kind, but you just don't piss him off.
Right.
There's just a root that came from the way he got. Like, no. There's a point you don't cross. But
that's an Ohio thing.
Well, he was from New Jersey. He's a New Jersey kid.
Yeah,
but,
he's originally Jersey.
He's originally from Jersey.
But again, I've never had anything but.
Man, I have nothing but great things to say when I've seen him, especially at World Industries back in the day, the Plan B was there and stuff. But anyway, all right, so we'll finish this up.
We're done? We're done?
No, we're not done.
13 more photos?
No, man. You've got the photos are now exhausted.
The photos are now exhausted.
Yes.
Thank you, people, for enjoying my photography. My photography.
I wanted to, is there anything you want to say? Any last words? Any thank yous? Any shout outs?
I mean, I'm thankful for everything I've ever had. Like I said, the friendships of the Chris Carters and my relationship with my company I did with Larry Ballmer for a while. I appreciate all that. I appreciate the Omars, even though I want to bitch slap him for stuff or whatever like that. I mean, like I
what
appreciate.
What are you saying, man?
No, it's not what he said. It's literally transactional stuff that took place. That was very much to his benefit and my detriment, and not real pretty or respectful. But Yeah, I mean, but what can I say? Everything I'm happier now than I've ever been in my life. I'm probably poorer than I've ever been in my life, but I don't feel poor in a sense. I feel richer than I've ever felt. I mean, Ron Allen actually said something to me, which maybe he goes, Jim, you're not rich, you're wealthy.
Yeah.
And he just meant that wealth was friendship and health and being happy, and so I'm very wealthy in that regard, and then in a wealth that you cannot buy. And I learned more as the years go by. I've learned one thing that I think I've kind of stayed focused on. I've always believed skateboarding is about fun. It crosses over into this cultural thing. It crosses over into this cool thing. I mean, there's lots of angles. I've been involved in every little bit of it, right? I've been involved in the business side of it, the cool guy side of it, the image side. But in general, really proud that staying and saying skateboarding is fun. I ride skateboards because they're fun. The feeling and the reason I ride skateboards is I like the feeling of motion, going fast, movement. I don't really care about tricks and so on and so forth. I respect tricks because I know how hard they are because I've done them and you've done them. I love your trick to death and I wish I could do it today. I don't know if my back could handle an adduct flapped over landing on the flat bottom. But damn, the fact that I ever did one makes me really proud. Makes me high five you for ever inventing that. It's a badass grab. So all of those relationships. The coolest thing is that everyone that I grew up with looking at magazines before I even got into the sponsored type skateboarding, I've met since then. I've become friends with most of them. And then I've watched every generation since that grow up and have been kind of around it to some extent. So I'm a really, really fortunate guy that I can kind of step into the 80s, the 90s, the 70s, the 2000s, and I feel comfortable with it. So
2010,
I truly am like the luckiest man in skateboarding as far as I'm concerned. I've got as much out of it as anybody has. As far as what the best things you can get out of it: positive living and good soul and lots of enjoyment.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've got to skate pools, pipes, ditches, mini ramps, freestyle, slalom. You did, but I mean, I still to this day I find things like I'm not a street skater per se in the sense that I have no desire to ride a rail. There's nothing about it that looks fun to me.
Well, I mean,
because it's just more fun. I did those for a while. I wouldn't do them now because I don't want to fall down that quick. But in the late 80s and the 90s, if I went to a skate park and there was a flat rail, I'd ride it and do a board slide on it. But I never got the exhilaration out of that feeling as I do of dropping in a bowl and pumping and then flying over the hip right that. To me, it's not a desire to be. I understand why it is to kids today, especially because we get in tune with things that we see, we do with friends. So when kids grow up street skating with their friends, they see the magazines, all that, they feel pumped about it, they go for it. But for me, just going to the pure feeling, it can never feel as good doing one trick down a rail as it does taking a run on a mini ramp that's 15 walls and just in fluid. And so to me, I've never had a desire. I don't feel like I missed out anything. I don't care how gnarly the trick was, how technical, how cool it was. Just to glide off a rail and land on it is it's a great stunt. It's not skateboarding to me. It's not riding a skateboard. It's doing a trick on a skateboard, and completing a skill. And I have great respect for what it takes, but it has no appeal to my senses of riding a skateboard.
Everybody has a different one.
Yeah. But those who are into it, I understand why they are. Let them do their thing. I realize that most kids aren't going to keep doing that after they're 40 years old, so they better learn how to ride a mini ramp or carve around if they really want to still ride their skateboard. And I see a lot of guys are starting to realize that. The only real 90s pro street skaters that are still primarily street skaters are like Ron Allen is one of the few who still skates street. Most guys, they can only ride a mini ramp or a small bowl. And you see a Sal Barbie because they're all out riding pools now. So
Sal's cool. Killing it.
So I don't know. That's it. I could talk forever, but thank you for watching. Keep watching. Subscribe to Skateboard Nation. Subscribe right now. Don't even
hit the button right now.
Just hit pause and hit subscribe.
Just say, hey, doesn't cost nothing. It's all good. What's the other one?
They're giving me 3 cents a click. So if 14 of you subscribe, I get something like 42 cents off that. So if somehow you can make this go viral and then they can get 18 million subscribers, I can maybe retire.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Maybe we can work on that. So how do you enjoy doing a podcast? Do you enjoy doing a podcast?
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I get to hear the stories, and everybody's really important to me as far as the history goes of skateboarding. I mean, everybody got to see it. I mean, I want to bring in some amateur kids that skated back then that looked up to all
Kevin
the guys
O'Regan,
like
baby,
us.
find him.
Yeah, man, I have to look him up.
Awesome.
try and find him. I mean, he had a ton of respect in the day, and I don't know what
I
happened.
haven't heard that name.
I've heard it. Someone said they knew where he was. He
had this Who's Hot. I mean, I have.
See, I never got it. Did you get a Who's Hot? You got a Who's Hot? Did you get a Who's Hot?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah, I don't see. That's.
Maybe we'll have to do one because we've resurrected the Who's Hot.
You know what I got?
Have you really? That would be rad. I dreamed of getting a Who's Hot. I dreamed of getting a cover. You've had covers. I've never had a cover. You never had a cover?
Never had a cover.
Really? I'm so surprised.
I got in trouble, man. I got in a fight with somebody and.
Oh, I almost got a cover, but we're not even gonna touch that story. There was some background shit that went on in the background, but at one point, they wanted a pipe shot, and they said, "Let's use Jim. Jim's one of the better pipe writers." Blah blah blah. In the '80s, and it got nixed. And there was some.
You guys
there was some
team members now, right?
Well, you mean GNS?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm officially
on the team.
Oh, okay. Am I still on the team? I hope I am. I think I'm a lifetime member.
Man. Those guys still love you.
I know. I love them too.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, everybody. Again.
Yeah. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, man. That was fun. It was awesome.
You're a good man. Don't ever believe the people who come in here and say bad things about Dave. They're all not true. Dave's a good guy. And you know what's really rad? I get to have another piece of pizza right now. Dave bought me some
cold pizza.
That's okay.
Some cold vegetarian.
Very good.
Anyway,
thank you for that. All right.
I should say cold veggie.
Okay, let's do Radio Boys together.
Okay.
Signing out. It's Skateboard Nation with Jim Gray and the actual host, Dave Adrick.
Okay.